Hello, hello, happy Friday. Welcome, happy Halloween. For those of you who celebrated last night, happy Samhain, which started this last week. And I think we said it goes through November 5th, November 4th. Happy if you're celebrating. Thank you so much to those of you who have been buying the ritual candles. Some of you guys have been stocking up, so hopefully that gets there in time for you to do whatever you want to do with them, like for Samhain or just in your life in general. I hope that you guys are doing well. Happy Friday. Today we are doing an interesting juicing reading on your past lives. Trying to have like focus on like the connection between like relevant themes in that past life that might be coming over here into this life, especially like the karmas that you might have been getting up to, chewing on, working through, learning, etc., etc. And before I forget, there's like an overall message that wanted to come through like for all the piles, and this has come through in other messages, but your guides are saying that it's very helpful if you, whenever you think about your karmas, like, okay, I've got karma that I'm working through individually, or that I've got karma that I'm working through in this group, or like with this person, that it's helpful for you to think about your karmas as being with like not a topic, but okay, like say I'm working out karma with jealousy, or I'm working out karma with I just heard alexithymia, where it's like trying to pay attention to like what my actual emotions are. Because if you think of it like that, then it helps to narrow down like to the root cause. Or even if you're trying to think about it like that and it's not like an immediate answer of what it is that you're working through the karmas with, for you to get to that immediate answer is you kind of doing the shadow work, and it's helping you to like get to the root cause. And then it's like, if you work through your jealousy because you feel like that's what caused like some kind of bubble up reaction in you, and then that's what caused you to act, because karma means action, that's what caused you to act in a certain way towards another person, well, that's how you clear it up, is like over here at the root. But if you focus on like the action or something, then it's not actually helpful. It is helpful as a part of your process, because you can recognize where things went wrong and a way in which maybe you treated somebody or you acted like out of your character. But what is like the rock that got tossed in the puddle to cause the ripple out effect, which was the action, if that makes any sense. So they want you to start thinking about your karmas like that. And then from there, you can kind of recognize, yeah, I do have, because I'm hearing the karmas you have with people get caught up in the karmas that you have with these like energies of jealousy or something like that. So, okay, so that just needed to come out first. Tasha, thank you so much for the super chat. And Noir, I saw your message earlier because you said that you're able to give super chats, and like you gave a super chat and it didn't work. So I don't know if you meant like with us over here. So thank you for a super chat if you gave us a super chat, even though it didn't like show up on the screen or anything like that. So, oh yeah, and happy Diwali for those of you that are celebrating. Okay, so let's do this. Is there anything else? I feel like there was something else that I was going to say. Oh, I wanted to compassion us. So, for those of you that are new here, we do this every single Friday, and the script that you see at the top of the screen is also the script that's on this prayer wheel, and it says Om Mani Padme Hum, and it is a prayer, it's a meditation, it's a chant, it's a mantra, and it's little bij sounds that are like the steps towards enlightenment, and it's strongly linked with compassion and love and, forgiveness and all of that. So I'm just going to compassion us. Compassion, compassion, compassion. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Don't I look so Halloween-y? I did this on purpose. And I put that over there for those of you that can see. So maybe I should decorate this table more, because actually I never really thought to do that, but and then I have this mug. My mother-in-law gave me that. It's a huge mug. All right. So this one, your past lives reading, I've been wanting to do this for a couple of weeks, but for some reason I've been putting this off. So I don't know if there's a reason that I've been putting it off, but I guess we'll see. So, okay, let's do this. So we've got the 3 piles here. And pile number 1 is the bridge. Pile number 2 is the animal. And pile number 3 is the unseen. So I'll put all 3 of those up, and you can look at all 3 of these and do your thing with them. If you just want to take a time with us now to, even if you've already chosen your pile, you can just use this time to meditate. But I always like to close my eyes, put my hands over my heart, turn that gaze inward, and just let everything drop. All the energy, all the noise, all the stress, all the thoughts in your head about the vet appointment you got to make and the grocery shopping you got to do, and just let all that go. And just center yourself in the here and now in your own energy. Turn your gaze inwards and take one full breath. You don't have to do that. I just needed to do that. And whenever you feel connected to yourself, that's when you can open your eyes. Just allow yourself to be drawn into whatever pile or multiple piles you could be drawn into. There can be any sometimes the way that you get drawn into the pile, especially with this reading for this many people, can be some kind of clarifying message in and of itself. Sometimes, I just heard sometimes your intuition will intentionally draw you to the wrong pile. Why is that? I just heard, okay, let me just remove this for a second. I just heard sometimes we have to acknowledge that we're the one that's off or we're the one that's wrong, but they're linking that to the 4 agreements for me. Which is, one of them is like, always do your best, but your best changes depending on if you're well rested, if you're not, if you're sick, if you're healthy, if you are a novice at something, or if you're an expert at something, like, right, your best kind of like always changes. And they want you to get comfortable with variability and cycles, and to know what healthy variability looks like and what unhealthy variability looks like. And they just want to kind of get you to notice and just get you to pay attention to whatever your baseline is and how your baseline works, but they're linking that to energy, like how your energy kind of like works. And sometimes it's just enough to know, like, oh, I'm feeling a little off today, and maybe get curious about it. And it's like, well, why might that be, or maybe in the situation, it's like that you're trying to explore using the tarot. It's like, well, maybe I was feeling a little off, or my intuition led me to thinking that it was like the wrong thing, but it's actually this thing. So if you like pull back and you choose another pile, that pile actually fits you more. Sometimes your message can be nestled into multiple piles, and you got to kind of work for it, because maybe there are no clear-cut answers in this situation, and it's pushing you actually inward, and you have to say like, oh, this or that, So all of this is part of a spiritual process, and it's all unfolding, and it's like about something bigger than like, okay, well, I just expect something to work this way or that way or something like that. So that's just a special message for somebody. So anyways, I'll put these 3 back up for one last look here. Oh yeah, and then Noor said sometimes it could be somebody else's message that is coming towards us and not necessarily what we were hoping to hear. Exactly. Yeah. Beth said I need to make a vet appointment. You are welcome. Okay, so, and I forgot to show you the anchor card. So for those of you that are interested, the anchor card is right there. It's right there. It's just like right there. And, and the anchor card's not one of the choices, but it is a common energy that goes into like each of the piles, and it is the mentor. So if that's speaking to you in a language you understand, in a language I just heard in a land down under. Okay, so those are your piles. Let's get into pile number 1. Sorry, my loving husband is around me. Get distracted. Okay. In a land down under. Sorry. Okay, so pile number 1, past lives. I'm actually getting a lot for this just already. Okay, there's like longing here in this card. I do feel like there's a separation here between you and a significant soulmate is what I'm hearing. For some of you, this might be a love interest. For others of you, I feel like this is a child or this is a parent. But it's some kind of close relationship that you didn't see clearly here in the past. They're showing me the 7th house. The number 7 actually might be significant, and then there's some other 7 that I don't know about. So, okay, it could be related to something in your life or something that you associated with this person, some kind of 7, but there's 3 7s, lucky number 7. I feel like you were gambling or you took some kind of a risk, but I feel like that was the inappropriate approach. There needed to be, something to fix your relationship, and I'm hearing relationships in general, like the glue that sticks them together, should not involve some kind of gambling or some kind of risk. I feel like there was something that you needed to straighten up on your side. And I don't know about their side or not, because that's another thing I feel like that you're learning about relationships. This is some kind of connective tissue between this past life and this current life, is that like you're not focusing on that person. You can't control other people, and it's a fool's errand. You shouldn't try. Because if this is a child, maybe you could control this person in the past, because, but that also, it's not an appropriate approach either. You're entrusted by God in order to teach somebody. So you have authority over a child, but authority to you shouldn't mean control. It should be like about raising somebody up to make sure that they can meet like life in a certain way. There's something off around the way that you were looking at this or approaching it. And I feel like there's a certain amount of like variability, instability in relationships, but I'm seeing like the moon energy. So this is like family, emotional instability, cycles, and family life, because they're showing me like cracks. Like they just showed me the moon like kind of cracked. You guys know I like to watch crumble reviews for some reason. For some reason, I just like to watch them. They're all the same, but I just keep watching them. But it's like whenever somebody like breaks open like the crumble cookie and then like show it to you, like I'm seeing that, but like with the moon, and they're showing me that like it's a ridge like on the edge, but it's that ooey gooey center. So I think that for some of you, you felt very variable or emotional in a situation, but you didn't actually show your ooey gooey center. But I think that you actually do have an ooey gooey center. I think it might be something that you're afraid of or that you're trying to run from. And, but really, just heard that's the best part, and then I just saw somebody take like a bite of that ooey gooey center and they're like, So I feel like that's what this person needed, is like something to do with that. And this somehow links back to a past life. And I feel like in that past life, and potentially in this life too, there's what started this cycle was some kind of separation from a parent. I actually think when you were a child in that past life, you got separated from a parent. It also could have gone the other way around, or it could have been both. Like where there was some kind of like unfortunate event. I heard unfortunate event. A series of unfortunate events. I think that's a book or a movie or something. I don't watch it, but if that's resonating with you. But I think, okay, so you got separated from a parent, I want to say, for most of you in this past life. And I just heard war, pestilence, which means like disease. And for some of you, they're telling me the disease is alcoholism, because there's a lot of ways for you to be like neglected, abandoned, or separated. So for some of you, I think it was an actual like physical separation. But for others of you, it was like, okay, well, your dad was like right there, but he might as well have been in another world because he was just like in some kind of drunken stupor and he wasn't doing anything to help you. You were the one cooking and cleaning and washing. So this could have been like some kind of connection that you share. Like if this is parent-child, like this, somehow this theme like kind of comes up and it caused some kind of fragmentation. It caused some kind of separation. And I just heard a lot of times when people are alcoholics, so maybe somebody went off to war and they couldn't process some kind of trauma and they actually came back. But then, yeah, because they're showing me like Noah from the Bible. And after they go through all their ordeal and they watch basically all of humanity die and then they get washed up on that land. And Noah becomes like an alcoholic. So it was like a lot for him to process, like the trauma of it and turn to the bottle kind of thing. So there's something to do with that. I feel like for some of you, alcoholism is like a strong theme here. But there was some kind of separation, and that's what poisoned the well. But this is like internally, like emotionally, and it caused you to feel emotionally variable. And I feel like for a lot of you, this links to definitely an insecure attachment style, potentially in both of you. But I feel for this group, most of you have like literally the anxious attacher style, because the anxious attacher style, they're kind of fallacy that they feel, but it's not always true. And I feel like you're learning about this in this particular connection, is that they always think it's better when we're together. So much better when we're together. I was channeling that this morning. And so it's like you just want to patch things up. You just want to be near this person. You just, if we could just be in a room together, if we could just have a conversation, things will be better. No. I just heard no, that's wrong. It's a fallacy. So you're being held out from this person until you realize this, that you just being in a room with this person doesn't make it better for sure. And potentially it actually makes it worse, potentially for this person, because you're not addressing the root of the issue. And the root of the issue is you're not willing to show your ooey gooey. Take it how it resonates. You're not willing to show your ooey gooey center. You're not willing to be a mush. You're not willing to be vulnerable. And if and until you're ready to do that, you're just going to keep hurting this person. And actually, there's a distance you can't see. So there's closeness in proximity, where you kind of want to go through the motions. And I don't think you relate to it like that, but you're like, here, like I'm seeing you try to like, here, like throw the ball, like, okay. And now I'm seeing that scene from Elf where he's like, he's talking to his dad and he's got on the Etch-a-Sketch and it's like, and then we're going to bake cookies and we'll make snow angels. And the dad is like, I've got to go to work. And he's like, right, that's stupid. And he like removes the Etch-a-Sketch. And I feel like that's you to this person. It's like, and we can play and we can run and we can frolic. And this person's like, I want to frolic with you. And the very fact that you cannot see that I don't want to frolic with you, and the very fact that you cannot piece together why I don't want to frolic with you, pisses me off. And so there's a distance here that you can't see when you're in a room with this person because of how you were acting or the way that you were trying to cope, with this. And I'm not saying that you're a bad person, but I'm saying like what you're learning is that to be in relationship with somebody it's to be in communion with somebody is much more than proximity, holding hands, kissing, going on dates. It's much more than that. There's, I hate to say it, but it's like the work of it. But there's a skill to relationships. And so this is what this lifetime is teaching you. And it was linked back to this past lifetime because I think that was like the splinter. I just heard the splinter effect was like kind of put into place in this past lifetime where you didn't understand this. And so there's a connection actually from your own childhood or from their childhood. Something here, there's a connection of coming of age for you where there was to learn about the skill of relationships. I feel like you had certain experiences, and I'm hearing for some of you, it could have been a certain thing that you had with a parent where you felt your parent was around, your parent was close to you, you loved your parent, but there was a distance. You actually know for yourself that there was a distance. and you wanted to bridge that gap, but you were unsure of how to bridge that gap or something like that. And so it was like supposed to push you. So that could link to your own childhood. Again, anxious attachers have that, where it's like things were pretty solid, things were pretty safe, things were pretty good for the most part. But there's just not a connection all the time, because it could be your parent is always working, or again, it could be that your parent, because your parent's always working, even though they come home at 5 every day, they're so exhausted that they just kind of like collapse, and there's that distance there. You're supposed to pick up on that in your childhood and like think about it and really understand that there was that kind of distance. And then I think you could have also had some kind of like horrible, I just heard romantic relationship, but I can see that it was more war than it was. And it was attention. It was based on like fraught drama, attention. So there was some kind of experience you had as a teenager or like early adulthood with some kind of love situation. It doesn't necessarily have to be with one person, but again, it's like there's a distance. It was attention and drama, but your actions with this person, because they were around, it's like maybe an obsession, like where the two of you can't let go of each other because it's a fight. I'm seeing 2 dogs like, like, you know, and it's not cooperative, and there's a distance between you and this person, but that distance felt comfortable to you because you had a distance with one of your parents. And all of this is to point you to the skill of relationship. Relationship, just like learning anything else, actually has like certain skills. And I think that there was certain coping mechanisms in this past life that led to this distance, but there's skills that can bring it back together. And it's really things like open communication. Because I think there's this group. Okay, I just heard that line from a Taylor Swift song. It's like, I'm an Aston Martin that you steered straight into a ditch, then ran and hid. So like, I feel like you mishandled the situation because you didn't understand about like the application and the relationship of like the relationship skills. So this person that you're at a distance from, I'm smelling very fine perfume or cologne, something like that. There's an elevation. I think this is what you're realizing here. There's some kind of elevated quality to this person. They're very refined. They're very mature. And it's kind of like, I go back again to this like teenage years, this early adulthood years, where it's like, that's it, you know, that's quality. It's like you had it right there, but you hadn't acquired the taste. It's like you wanted bubble gum and you wanted to push somebody in the puddle, or for some of you, I think you wanted somebody to push you in the mud puddle and pull your hair. And that's how you recognize love. Because it's like, show me that I affect you, you know, kind of thing. Show me. And you feel like if you affect somebody, that they're never going to leave. Because, but again, that's wrong, because it's like an attention game or a power game. If I am on your mind, or if I have some kind of control over your psyche, you're never going to leave. But again, you're not seeing like the distance. There's like an emotional distance that you're actually injecting into the space when you're dealing with somebody that is healthy and when you're dealing with somebody that is mature. But I feel like you didn't see that clearly in the past, because it's like you had an Aston Martin. It's like you had this like, I'm hearing they're perfect. They're everything. Like you're realizing that this person is very well-rounded. I just heard a gift from God. Like it's something where there's this concept in like Christianity where it's like the concept of grace, where you understand that you did nothing to deserve like having this kind of quality of a person. Like you realize that you didn't understand, but it was really like, I'm hearing God literally wants you to know, like, I love you because I gave you that person. I love you because that was your opportunity. And this person being in your life was some kind of opportunity, but it was an opportunity for you to practice your skills, your adult skills, open communication. Now I go back, okay, I have a Libra South Node in Western. Your South Node is an energy where you just kind of know things and you don't know why you know things. And I just have always kind of known things about relationship. I don't know everything in life. There are definitely certain things. I'm very bad spatially for whatever reason. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's things that I'm confused by, but for whatever reason, I know how to run me a relationship. I just do. It's like second nature to me. I've always known these things. And I remember as a kid, I would watch these like very dramatic relationships. I'd see them on TV. I would see them in my real life, and I didn't respect it. I just had this loathing and this just like, you're both weak people. You're bored and you don't know how to run a relationship. You should be ashamed of yourself, but you're not. Like, I just saw that. And I saw it as like the makeup breakup thing. It's like the talk to the hand, leave me alone. Like, we're done, we're through. Like I saw people use the word and the concept of breakup and just like throw it in someone's face. So I promised myself, and this is like fascinating to me that I had the wits about me to do this, but I think this is some South Node shit where I just promised myself that, and I would say it like to my boyfriends. I would say, listen, if you say to me, if one of us says we're done, we're broken up, we are broken up. I want you to know that if you say that to me, I'm absolutely holding you to account. If you say that to me, I'm not going to try to get you back, because words have meaning. And so I think some of you might have gotten into a cycle with somebody where you were comfortable playing these makeup breakup games and you lost all credibility. And actually, I'm hearing this person does not respect you because you weakened your own position. This is something that you're meant to learn, because I think you could have gotten wrapped up with that karmic situation in this past life too. You weakened your own position because they know this. All you're doing is you're training somebody to learn not to take you seriously. That when you say something, you don't mean it. That you cave, you don't have a backbone, you don't stand up for your own interest, and words lose meaning. So when you say, I'm breaking up with you, what you mean is chase me. And so this person's like, oh, I'll get around to it tomorrow. Like, I know what you want, like, that kind of thing. And so words have meaning. I think that's something that you're supposed to, and I'm hearing like we build things and we build the special, we make the special, and we build the container. And so I feel like you're supposed to learn to build the container. So that was why that was my rule, is because say what you mean. What you mean right now is not, we're breaking up and you're craving some kind of emotional release. What you mean is, I'm upset with you. So say that. What you mean is, I'm confused by what you're doing. So say that. What you mean is, I feel uncomfortable when you do this, and it makes me, I don't know how to handle it, and it makes me wonder about how sustainable this is, because I don't know what I'm supposed to do, because to me it feels like now I'm disrespecting myself. So say that. So see what I'm saying? It's like, have the conversation. But some of you are scared to do that, and because I'm hearing, oh, you're investing in the relationship. You're letting somebody know that you care. That feels vulnerable to you. Remember when I told you don't like to show your ooey gooey? That's what I'm talking about. You don't like to show your ooey gooey. So you're just like, and then you would rather play these games, but you're actually a sweetheart. You're actually a mush. You're actually a gush. You're actually a softie. Anxious attachers. Anxious attachers are ooey gooey, soft and mushy. They're the best girlfriends. They're the best boyfriends in the beginning. And then a lot of times they get all up in their head when things move to the stability phase. And that's the exact opposite of an avoidant, because some of you are dealing with an avoidant, or you made an avoidant. Like, you're an anxious attacher and you made an avoidant. And so your attachment styles are speaking to each other. You've got, the only thing that's going to bridge that gap is to give voice to it, right? It's Mercury. So this is why people say that Mercury is so important in relationships. Communication is so important in relationships. In mythology, we know that Mercury, which is the god, the messenger god, right? That it's the bridge, the divine bridge. Mercury is the divine bridge. Mercury, there's no door that Mercury cannot unlock. So if you learn how to communicate yourself appropriately, that's how you get this person to open the door. But you, my friend, have to communicate your ooey gooey, and you don't like to do it. And frankly, I think you're trying to dodge. That's that lucky sevens that, like, I'm seeing you pull on a slot machine. Like, is it going to come up sevens? Am I going to get my person back? Luck is not going to bring this person back to you. Because even, here's what you need to understand and like learn from this past life. Even if you could get this person in a room with you, for some of you, you've got to admit to yourself that you do not have the skills to keep this person around, to not distance them, to not alienate them, to make them feel seen and understood, to communicate yourself. So that's what you got to work on. So this distance is actually teaching you. It's your guides, and your guides are there for you. And there's a lot you can't see, because I just saw the wingspan. It's like kind of covering this. But also owls, owls are crazy creatures. Like, they're little killing machines. They're really, really versatile. Like, they can see in the dark. Their heads go all the way around. I mean, they are crazy. They're like a Swiss Army knife of a bird. And again, that's that Mercury energy. So your guides are kind of like teaching you that. And I think that they're putting you in situations where like that is the case for you. Some of you have this skill in like other areas of your life. I just heard like you always land on your feet. Cats have 9 lives. I think like you're very resilient. They just showed me you're like a ball, and like you just kind of like bounce, like you're used to that, like tucking and rolling and like getting back up on your feet. But relationship, I feel like, and this communication and the vulnerability of it, that's where you don't feel so secure, because I just heard not everyone you love is going to leave you. So this is like some kind of cycle. Okay, so like with your parent, you thought your parent was rejecting you on some kind of like subconscious level. You didn't understand that dad was tired, and that he loves you, and that's why he gets up and he goes to work every single day. Maybe he's not very good at communicating something. Like, I think some of you too, it's like, I think you could be in a situation where you realize that you became that, or you became something worse than that, or something, like whatever issue you had with your parent. But now I think you're seeing your parent through human eyes, and so that's supposed to be a part of the healing process. It doesn't excuse anything. It doesn't excuse the way that you felt, or, all of that's very real and it's very valid, and you can't go back to the past. It is true. But I think that you're healing that inner wound within yourself, where you're like, okay, I was a little baby brain then, and I didn't understand whatever. Baby brain could be significant. So somebody here could, like, there could have been a distance with like pregnancy, or something like that. Oh, maybe that's like associated with the past life. Somebody here could have been pregnant in a past life, and it was like baby brain, and then there was like a distance. I don't know. But I can see that like children are very important to this connection. Like they play your inner your inner children. And somebody here, like where you have kids and stuff, like all of it is connected to your attachment style. So some of you could have foregone a connection with an actual divine partner because you didn't know how to read them and you couldn't bridge the gap. And so you settled. I'm literally hearing that. You settled for somebody who would play the games with you. And it actually flared this up in you, whatever it was. Because it's so much better than we're together. So I think some of you have a tendency to pedestal people that will be around you. And I just heard tolerate your BS. And you think, oh, well, they love me because they're around. Some of you think that like love belongs to the person that like fights the hardest. You must love me because you're in here and we're bonkers, but at least we're bonkers together. No. Ew. Nobody's got self-respect. There's something undermining about this. Okay. So, Okay, so there's something here about a connection that's near you. It's in your near perimeter, something you chose over this other person, something that you exalted over this other person. The only reason you exalted that is because somebody was around you. And that's this anxious attacher thing. That's you saying, okay, well, I feel like this person must really love me because they always come back or they stick it out. So they must be like, no. This is a very low connection because you need skills to elevate out of this. This is very base, like whatever this is. And it's like you tolerate a lot of bullshit from them. They tolerate a lot of bullshit from you. Neither of you have the self-esteem to care. What would break this is realizing that something here is undermining. It's an intelligence test. Realizing this is head doing and nobody in their right mind would stay in something like that. Nobody with self-respect would stay in something like that. That's what it is. It's a dance between undermining and self-esteem. Because somebody here could really think like less of themselves and they're clinging to you in a way that's unhealthy. Like this is extremely karmic because you feed a coping mechanism in the other person, both of you. And you're mistaking the drama of it and the toxicity of it for love. It's not elevated at all. As a matter of fact, it keeps you from elevating. So what would break this is somebody having self-esteem and being able to see what this is. But there's this undermining nature. So somebody could even try to undermine you sticking in this relationship long term. This is what I'm trying to say. You sticking in this long term, if this sticks together for the long term, it's because how low can you go? How low can you go? And basically what I mean by that is like somebody's going to baby trap the other person. That's really what I'm getting. It's like somebody's going to set some kind of trap in order to get some kind of physical hook in you to where you physically cannot leave. For extreme cases, this could be like blackmail or something. Or what would stick it together is just not building up your self-esteem, running from addressing that problem. And that's what's going to stick you with this person. And you like that on one level because it's distracting. Because I think on some level, you know that you got to build the skills. And the skills that you have to build and the skills that would get you out of this is open communication. That is a big one. Learning how to communicate yourself. Maybe take a communication class. Like, we've taken communication classes. The whole like, I feel blank when you blank, instead of saying like, well, you did this and you did that. No, I statements. I feel, because you're taking ownership. Some of you have to take ownership for your own personal emotional state and what it does to people, how it alienates the right people, because and I think like you could have been demonizing this person in the past. Oh, well, they did something wrong. They did this, they did that. That person had self-esteem. That person knew that they were not being treated correctly, and that person left. And like I said, I think for some of you, you were looking at this person like, well, why won't you push me in the mud puddle? Don't you like me? Why don't you pull my hair? Don't you like me? Why aren't you being mean to me? Don't you like me? And this person is like, I have class. That's why. I have self-respect. That's why. Like this person's kind of like, whoa. I think that you didn't realize that there was some major like red and yellow flags here that you were putting out. And then kind of, I'm an Aston Martin that you steered straight into a ditch and ran and hid. And the fact too that some of you, like there's that moon energy, you're trying to obscure your fears. It's created a lot of illusions around this healthy person in your mind and around this unhealthy person. So I think you're coming up out of that. You got to be willing to. And this is linked to some kind of, I think this scenario almost this exact scenario played out in a past life. And there was a lot of water under the bridge. And now you're feeling trapped. You're feeling like you want this person and you want to up and take action. I feel like sometimes you'll be like, okay, like the wind is in my sails and I can like go towards this person. But again, your spirit guides are really holding you back and they're saying you're going to ruin this more. You don't understand that this isn't a gambling game. Because, okay, I get it. Because for some of you, it's like you're trying to look out at this person and you're like, what mood are they in? Okay, well, it was just their birthday, so they're in a positive mood. They're open. So now I'm going to take my risk. I'm going to take my gamble. Don't leave this up to gambling. Learn how to communicate yourself. Learn the dance. Learn the healthy steps. It's worth it for you to learn the healthy steps. It's going to feel weird. It's going to feel different. It's not this frenzied, dramatic, whatever the fuck was going on over here that's very distracting and it's addicting. This is some kind of addictive thing, but it's also, it saps you of your energy. It drains you of your self-esteem because this is war. Whoever this is in your near perimeter, you are enemies from a past life. This is war, but it's in your near perimeter. You both want something from the other person and you try to take it from the other person. There's no sense of cooperation and there will be none because you don't have what the other person actually needs. Like if you actually came up out of this, the natural like realization would be like, I have no idea why I'm near you. Like both of you would be like, right? Man, like it's just because you were willing to flick me in the face and then I thought it was appropriate to flick you in the face back. Bye. It's like that coming up out of it because I'm seeing this as like a fight, whatever this is. And I'm seeing somebody just spear the other person in the solar plexus. So it's like their confidence, their personhood, and to keep them around. They defeated you if you're around. And that would be a relationship. Somebody's got to disable the other person's confidence and their solar plexus, their career, their something, in order to keep them around. And then I'm just seeing that person kind of just slumped over in the chair like, ugh, because it's like fighting and they just get slowly drained. Then I'm just seeing the blood and everything just slowly drain, and they're not going to get them any help for their wound. This is a metaphor emotionally. Yeah, I wounded you and I know it. Do I want to do the healing work? No, because I'm winning. I get everything I want out of you. You're a puppet in the corner. And like this person's not even like eating meals or anything. It's like, great, I save on my grocery bill. It's like it's a war kind of scenario. And it's like somebody's going to spear the other person to try to get what they want because you have to take what you want from the other person. You're enemies with this person in a past life, and you have to realize the difference between love and war. I feel like some of you ran off love to play with war, and you exalted war, and you called it love, and you called it divine, and you called it something because that person would just tolerate your toxicity, and you would tolerate theirs. And you've got to come up out of that mindset, and you've got to come up out of that energy. And this played out in regardless of whatever situation you're looking into, and like, okay, like I said, this is parent-child, or this is like with your parent or with your child, or if this is a love interest, I imagine that this is a relationship pattern in some form that plays out in other relationships because this does go back to your attachment style. And you don't necessarily have to look in this. I think you also could have settled for something here that was like, it looked stable, but it's stable on the outside, some kind of plush luxury thing. And you did that in a past life. For sure in a past life, you ran an Aston Martin that you steered straight into a ditch, then ran and hid. But this person's luxury is on the inside. Okay, because they're linking this over to something else. And I don't know if this happened in the past life or this is something that's going to happen in this lifetime. I don't want to miss it. So it's something like, okay, so you ran here to the luxury thing. Some of you have been using the tarot in order to try to understand these things, and you were very lost for a long time because you were projecting out onto this person that's what this person did, that somebody else chose somebody else over you because they had more to offer on a material level. In reality, that's actually what you did. But I feel like the reason you were projecting that outwards is because you were the one that actually made a decision to gamble over here because you thought you could profit. Somehow you thought you could profit. And for some of you, this links back to some kind of peaked in high school energy reading. But it's like you don't realize that because maybe you've been linked to this person for a long time or something here. So back in the day, it's like this person has those things back in the day. Or maybe you did this back in the day. So this person's really attractive. I look this way with this person, but it didn't pan out. It didn't pan out because it's hollow. It's like a soggy taco where their bottom just falls out. And it's because this wasn't built on anything and it was never going to work out because it's karmic. It's a lesson that it doesn't work out. And your guides didn't make that happen. It's just you got to learn that when your meat is too wet and you put it in the taco, it makes the bottom soggy and it falls out. You can see ahead of time that you've got soggy meat. So maybe you need to unsoggy it before you put it in your taco. That's what your guides are saying. The writing was always on the wall over here that the bottom was going to fall out of your taco. You've just had to have a soggy taco in order to learn about that. You see what I'm saying? So I think some of you you've been thinking that in the tarot specifically, like you get the piles switched, and because you see this person somehow succeeding. Again, I'm smelling like luxury. I'm an Aston Martin. This person is just like very refined or something, but this person didn't go after somebody for that. They weren't trying to elevate through their relationship. This person just naturally built it, and it worked out for them because they did things right. They navigated reality according to reality. They were like, that meat is too soggy, no thanks. I just heard Goldilocks is like, that meat's too soggy and that meat's too dry, and this is the meat for me, kind of thing, and went in that direction. But they weren't trying to be that way. They just are that way. And it was always inside of them. But I feel like in the past, you could have thought, oh, well, this person doesn't have as much to offer, or this person isn't as good, because you didn't see the engine. You weren't looking on the inside of these people. Okay, because now I'm seeing from Swan Princess Odette. So there could have been a connection here to like the past with these people where Odette grew into the swan. So both of these people like grow into the swan. But so you could have known somebody here from your past, and then you met this person, because there's this one particular scene where it's something Odette over here, the nice. She was like, don't you like anything about me besides my looks? And he goes, what else is there? And then the next scene is his like advisor or something like, what else is there? What else is there? You should write a book called How to Offend Women in 10 Words or Less. So there's somebody here, it's like they don't look at women maybe, or somebody beyond the surface level of things. And they actually will put two things. They think, oh, these things are similar because they look very similar on the surface of them. And they'll put them on the same pedestal. But one of these things is not like the other. And wow, is one of these things not like the other. These two things look very similar for a moment in time. I think this is youth. For a moment in time, they look very, very similar. But by God, oh boy, these two things could not be more different. One of them is rank. Whew, I'm getting like, whew. Oh, you don't want to cuddle up next to that. And the other one is like, oh my God, you're like literally everything. You've got to learn how to see that. And you've got to tap in. Again, your relationship skills, the very fact that somebody here does not have healthy relationship skills, it's like this is just fraught. Whatever this is, it's like a frenzy, angry, chaotic, nightmare. That's their nasty, gnarly seed, like within them. What do you think that's going to grow into? Another nasty, gnarly seed? It's not going to grow very far. It's going to piss a lot of people off. But this other thing, it's going to grow up into this. So you've got to be able to see the difference here in those people. You've got to be able to see through the heart. So I think you got distracted with the surface. And this is where you were actually the one. For some of you, you need to hear this. You were actually the one that made the superficial decision. This person has more to offer me. But it was because they drove the Camaro. They drove, I'm seeing Matthew McConaughey in Dazed and Confused. All right. Kind of stuck in high school energy. Like, well, he's so cool and he looks good in those jeans and he's driving the Camaro. But then when you actually look what he's doing with his life, what are his goals? What are his skills? That man is going nowhere fast, okay? When he hits 40, that man is going to be smelly and, it's the truth of him will be revealed kind of thing, But this other person, like, yeah, they're off trying to learn and build and stuff. Like, you've got to see the difference between these two. And I feel like that's something that didn't occur here in the past. There's also, okay, so I'm getting this story like from my childhood. I don't know why this applies. This is some kind of metaphor. I remember like the moment I realized that my dad had like F-boy energy. And it was because he drove a Bronco and he was like obsessed with it. I don't know if you know what a Bronco is, okay? But it's like from, I don't know, I think like the 70s or something. And my dad always thought that car was really cool, but I was like, where? Because to me, it was like dusty and dingy because my dad always like smoked in it. It wasn't necessarily dirty, but it just like always felt kind of dirty. But I remember seeing a powder blue one and I was like, oh, I get it now. Like, that's a really cool car. But I remember when I was a kid learning, like I was like a 10-year-old, or I was like kind of an older kid. And I learned that the back actually came off of the Bronco. And I was like, this is really cool. Why did we never take the back off of it? Like, can we take the back off of it? And my dad was like, no, we can't take the back off of it because then the rain's going to get in or whatever. But I remember in that moment realizing that God loved me because my dad always smoked in the car and my sister and I had to both sit in the front seat and we would fight each other over like the little bit of air that would come through. Can you imagine seeing your two little girls that you claim to love more than anything fighting over some God-given fresh air? And they can't get it. You can't wait your ass 15 minutes to get home before you light up. That's the kind of guy my dad was. But I remember in that moment thinking, well, my God took care of me. My dad has this car that the whole back comes off and like there's no wall between like, and so it's like we could both sit in the back and like he could smoke and it would be fine, but he won't do it. He's not going to take the back off, like for reasons I don't understand. Like there's some kind of metaphor about this where it's like you were given everything. All you had to do was take the back off. There was some kind of cool thing. It was like the cool part of this car we literally never used. You know, like I feel like there was something here that was like special or whatever. And it's like the cool part of this car, like we literally never even used it. Like, and then we wonder why it feels so like dusty and dingy in there. I don't know. I feel like that's a metaphor for some of you. It's his version of like not using the nice china, you know? So, oh yeah, and your dad smoked too. I literally cannot, like, to this day, I get a whiff of cigarette smoke and I get pissed off. I get freaking angry because I just, like, you don't get to make this decision for all of us. How dare you? Okay, so maybe that's another thing. It's like some kind of noxious, this is like very like a diseased family environment where it's like there's one person that decides to do one messed up thing and it ruins the whole space. It's like, well, I'm just doing this one thing. And it's like, and that's diffusing everywhere and no one else can exist in this environment without having to contend with that. Like, I'm sorry, you like to smoke cigarettes. I like fresh air. So that's the imbalance in the relationship. You getting the one thing that you want, that's something. That's what it is. Okay, like you getting the one thing that you want means that I inherently do not get the thing that I want. See, this is an imbalance. This isn't a relationship. This is you being a tyrannical asshole and expecting me to deal with it and then being confused as to why I don't like you. This should not be confusing. So yeah, that's, all right. And it's impairs somebody's health. You know, like the moment you smell cigarette smoke, your immune system goes down a little bit. Just the moment that you inhale it. So it's like, I can't protect myself because of something here. Yeah, it's like, it gets somebody else all out of balance in like a very God-given like way, something here. Like now my health is at risk because you can't like whatever, like it's something here like that. So, okay, that definitely links back to a past life. I feel like it was almost the exact same scenario as what I'm hearing as to what you are experiencing in this life. And really the key to this is valuing relationship, valuing equal give and take. I think some of you just feel vulnerable. It feels overwhelming the first time you do it. Okay, but it can be a rush. Okay, because some of you are gamblers or you like that dopamine hit. But if you find the right person and you go out on that limb, it can really be a rush. You know, that's kind of that falling in love thing, you know, where it's like, okay, a little give and a little go. And it's learning to take that risk. But I think for some of you, it's like you just feel so vulnerable. And I also think this is like very love bombing because anxious attachers, like I said, they're known for being really good girlfriends and really good boyfriends because it's like they'll learn everything about you. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to take you on the most fabulous date or whatever. And it's like, that's fine. Like I would rather us just go out to eat because then I know the feelings that I have for you are attributed to you and not this crazy thing that we did. I don't like to be confused. I like to be very measured and I like to know that you're going to be the same. You're going to be stable for me 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now. I like to get to know you, the core of you, because I like to plan my future and I hate wasting my time and I hate wasting my effort. And I do not want to build my rock upon a soggy taco where the bottom is going to fall out. And it feels like very precarious. So like just show up. I don't want you to dazzle me for the first 3 days and then shit the bed. Okay? Nobody wants that. So I think for some of you, it's like, it's strategy, it's gambling. It's like, okay, I'm gonna front load it. You know, I'm gonna be the best. I'm gonna love bomb. I'm gonna do all of this. And then you run out of steam. The right person doesn't want you to love bomb them. The right person wants to make a connection and they want to know that the you that they're getting to know is going to be the you tomorrow and the next day and the next day. And some of you might be like, but that's boring. And then I'm not going to hook myself into their mind and then they're going to leave me because that's anxious. Anxious feels like unless it's the beginning phase, that's why they cheat. They're prone to it. They're more prone to it is because it's like, if it's not the beginning phase, then I don't trust that you not to stick around. You have to learn how to trust this higher thing that you see in this other person. I just heard this person say, I'm hot as hell. I have a lot of options and I'm loyal. And I think that makes me hotter. I think that makes me better. I just heard than you and then anybody else who might also be hot, who might also have a lot of options, but literally cannot control themselves. So you've got to learn how to trust the character of a person to get to know the character of a person. Because I feel like you're looking for something superficial. Like, okay, well, if I get my hooks in you some way, and people are always going to try to buck control. People that have self-esteem, anyway, the good ones. They're always going to try to buck control. So anyways, anything else? There could have been some kind of, travel distance. You were always, like, somebody here could have left. You were always wanting to bridge a gap with this person. But you were always focused on this person instead of focusing on yourself. Because, yeah, and then this person cuts off from you. And because this exact situation plays out like in past lives where this person cuts off from you and then you're like up in your head about it. But it's because you're not looking at you. And it's because you tolerate nonsense around you. I'm literally hearing that. You tolerate way too much BS. You tolerate way too much BS from that toxic ass karmic you got around. That's what I heard. That's a message for somebody. Some of you know, side-eyeing that person. It starts with self-love. So love for another person starts with self-love. You've got to have enough respect and decency where this person, okay, whoever this karmic is around you, is a manifestation of your lack of love for yourself. And once you overcome that karmic will no longer be around. I get it. That's the key. For a lot of you, that's the key. Like in future lifetimes, once you heal this wound within yourself, the next time you meet this person or you engage with this person, that nasty ass, I just heard bitch, that nasty ass bitch you got around you, she's not going to be around causing trouble, playing on your mind because you've already healed it. And she's gone off where she needs to go and you're where you need to go. And there's not going to be that interference. And it's just, I just thought you guys right up to each other. And there's not all this weird stuff like, how am I going to see through all of the like, no. Just heal that wound. And that person that always derails you they don't have anything to grab onto in your psyche. You don't want anything from them. You recognize immediately you don't want anything that they have to offer. And you just are like, no, get away from me. If you have to meet them at all. Because for some of you, it's like that just goes away. That connection, there's a connection you have with somebody here that's literally worth dick. And like, it's just going to go away. It's just going to go away. It's teaching you a lesson now in the worst way. But it's just going to go away. When you learn that lesson, you start to respect yourself, you will naturally move away from this person. And I think you're going to understand this other person a lot better because you're going to realize that you actually were the one carrying that in. I don't think you meant to hurt this person or anything. Some of you are with a manipulative person. I don't know. But it's going to make you understand the way this person moved a lot better because you're going to be like, once you get out of this, you're going to be like, I cannot believe I tolerated that for so long. I cannot believe I thought that was love. I cannot believe I thought that's what this is all about. So, and again, I'm hearing God say to you, all of this is for you. Yes, this has been head doing, but you see how all of this is for you? It's getting you up out of that like mentality and getting you away from there's somebody in your life. They keep saying that, like you tolerate way too much from that person. You tolerate way too much like nonsense from that person. And it's because you're scared of them moving away from you because you think that meaning and fulfillment exists in close quarters with somebody. And that's where like your validation or like your success comes from. But no, this is teaching you how to get to the nuance of it because it's like you want to be with this other person. Being close with that other person and being able to maintain it, even if you just maintained a relationship with that one other person, would bring so much more health, wealth, abundance, and value into your life than whatever this is. You know? But there's a difference between these two because you have to be your worst self to manage this person. You have to be ignorant. You have to take the bait. You have to, whatever this is that keeps the two of you together, you have to be better to maintain a relationship with this person. You have to stretch your legs. You've got to learn something different. It's a chin up. You've got to build your strength to be with this person. That's why it's always going to be healthier. So it's like learning how to do the chin ups is actually like what you need to be with that person. So anyways, that was a long pile. I feel like a lot of you are closing out this cycle though, like, cause you want a new beginning and you want a new beginning with this person. But I think you realize that you've been in this doesn't feel good. I can't imagine this feels good. Like being with this other person over here, or people, or like for some of you, it's a group or something. I don't know. Okay. So that was pile number 1. Trauma bonding works when you are not healed. Amen. All right. Let me just take a little drink. Okay. People will take one virtuous position and use it to shit on people who they can one up because they're doing something wrong. That's true. Actually, I feel like that's actually a bridge into this next one. Oh my gosh. The animal with the anchor card here. So we're okay, sorry. Pile 2, the animal. If you're just joining us, we have 3 piles here. We just did the bridge, which was pile number 1. We're moving on to the animal, which is pile number 2. And then we'll moving on to the unseen. So pile number 2. Okay. I am hearing the word vice with this one here. with this animal, and then compassion. Compassion, 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 compassion. So every time that you have a vice, it's coping. Like, recognize that whenever somebody has a vice, or whenever you have a vice, it's coping. And I feel like for some of you, there's an animal here that you have a connection to from a past life that's like helping you cope from a past life vice or something here. But I'm really getting like some kind of higher lesson here, and then I'm going to ground this into some kind of past life experience. So whatever this is, it's like, I think some of you are learning that there's some kind of behavior that you do, okay? And this is a part of your animal self. So it's like instinctual, it's not elevated, it's not higher vibrational, but it's this coping. And I think you're learning how to work through the coping in order to get to the underlying issue, in order to address whatever the underlying issue is in like a healthier way, in a way that doesn't take from you. And I am hearing the word trauma bond, because a trauma bond is when you feel comfort and you feel love and you feel emotion for somebody or something, because that's this vice. And this something, but that's the thing that's hurting you. And I feel like you're this animal. It's like you're loyal and you're like, trying to, but then you always end up getting hurt because you formed a trauma bond. I'm literally hearing with some kind of substance or some kind of vice. But that substance or that vice, you're doing it like when you take that hit of alcohol to like numb out, because it buys you some kind of like peace for the moment. And I've always said this, like I've kind of noticed that people who have addictions, they a lot of times are very spiritually gifted. They just don't understand that, or they don't know how to channel it in. So they're used to it's like, I just heard dissociation. So you could like dissociate or something, but it's because you're trying to dissociate from some kind of like pain. That's the only way that you've had, that's the only thing that you've had access to comfort you and to like numb your pain or something. So you're learning that happened in a past life. I really feel like some of you succumbed I think it's succumbed to some kind of addiction in a past life, or it was some kind of animal behavior, or you got lured into something out of a false sense of loyalty to somebody that you had a trauma bond to. Oh, okay. I'm getting it. There's some kind of person or group that you're connected to. You've got a trauma bond with this person or this group or this individual. That is a past life connection. You just had that same trauma bond. You were trying to find friendship, comfort, like, running away from some kind of inner pain that you had here. And there could have been a leader of this group, some kind of mentor. And you felt like this person could see right through you, I think. And you felt like this person could see your weakness. This person was very adept at like keeping things in line. You didn't want to challenge this person. And I think this group was held together by some kind of trauma bond, some kind of vice. So this is a group where it's like you would go to the drink, you would party, you would get like drunk from this person. They told you to do something bad or wrong. This to me looks like gang, like some kind of, or like Peaky Blinders kind of thing, like some kind of illegal activity. You got dragged into something. I can see that you don't naturally belong there. Like, you're a very sweet person. You're a very sensitive person. You were trying to show loyalty. You were trying to buy friendship, I'm hearing. But it was like through engaging and indulging in these like lower things. Because like the only thing that you have in common with these people is maybe like this vice, whatever it was. And it could be multiple vices, because I'm hearing like schmegs, smoking, drinking, whatever this was. So now in this lifetime, you're learning to turn away from this group or this leader or something here that caused you to do something very negative or very bad to maybe a lot of people. But I think that you're processing this through like, maybe it caused you to leave your son. I just heard it caused you to leave your son, caused you to abandon your son. Maybe this is linked to pile number 1. It caused you to harm your family, like the family that you built. They caused you to harm somebody that's very small, sensitive, and vulnerable. It could have even been a partner, or maybe for some of you were in a trauma. Okay, so for some of you, that's how it went. For like, you were convinced to do something negative to I think like the mother and the wife of your child, your partner, somebody that was carrying your child or had your child, you were convinced to even if it was just to turn away from them or something. For others of you, you were in a trauma bond with someone who did this, and you recognize this energy in them, this like, see how sweet that, look at that. It's like, please love me, like this. You recognize that like loyal energy, but then they just associate with this ringleader, this like horrible person and like group that they have a trauma. That was confirmation. But I just heard from Practical Magic, broom fell, company's coming. So Oh my gosh. Okay, so this person like loves you, but then they were so scared that like whoever this tyrannical energy is, this could be a mother. This is like a ringleader of a gang, but this could be like, if you've ever been in a narcissistic family or a narcissistic group, you know that it's like it could be your mom, it could be your granny that just like hits you with the broom or something if you don't fall in line. So this person had this like beautiful loving connection with you, and they would be that way, and you would build those loving connections, or you did this to somebody else. But it was like, like this person's going to see that like I'm soft with you and that I love you, and they're going to see right through me. So when I try to tell them that like I don't care about you or I don't love you, they're going to see right through me. So I better treat you like shit. So there's some kind of trauma bond formed because somebody here has a negative association, and it's based on comfort and soothing. And I'm seeing somebody puff on a cigarette, but you know, when people smoke things, or when they some people will like suck on lollipops or something, that's an oral fixation. And according to Freud, and nobody puts a lot of stock in Freud's theories, but a lot of the things like we still reference and they kind of hold true. So they could have been stuck in like the oral phase of development, which is very early on. So this is some kind of early abandonment wound or some kind of early trauma, but it's all about comfort and soothing, and it's the infant. So I think you're learning how to turn, it's Aries energy, because Aries ironically turns, Aries weirdly is linked to the infant and the emperor. So it's like father, son. Oh, that's the son. Father, son dynamic is what you're working on getting healthy here, but it has to do with you not treating, or somebody not treating you like shit for somebody else, because the love is there between the two of you, and the desire to be loyal and protective, like a guard dog. This person kind of like I'm seeing like turn around like you know, but it's like about them too, and protecting someone, a baby here. This is from a past life. Maybe this is the lifetime you ended up in the river, or somebody else did, in a van down by the river. Sorry. But it's like learning how to, so the infant, like that state of consciousness is like very like a baby just cries when it needs something. You know, and it's just very reactive. And that's linking up to some kind of addiction. So the same way that a baby cries to get a bottle and just reaches the bottle and then just like sucks on the bottle, and that's like soothing. Like it's stuck in that, like, so you would just reach for like whatever vice this is. But that's what's like keeping you. It's also a collar, because I'm seeing it like put a collar on you. And just like somebody was saying in the comments, you're learning that it gives somebody a reason. It gives somebody a reason to like come at you. And it keeps you stuck in this where like actually it's like this state of you don't feel confident in yourself, because you know that you're kind of doing something wrong. You know that it's unhealthy, or you know that it's affecting people. You know when you get drunk, not you, or for some of you, this is a person that you're in a relationship with, and you know that the love is real. You know that the loyalty is real. You know that they've got it in them to turn around and bare their teeth at a dick that's like trying to, you know, but they won't do it because they want to be accepted for some reason by this horrible person. And this is like, sometimes you win when you lose, and sometimes you lose when you win. So it's like, this person's all jumbled because they're like, I want to win your friendship. But it's like, if you win that person's friendship, you lose self-respect, you lose, I'm hearing your wife and child and their comfort and their love. That's actually real, and it doesn't come with strings. They just need you to protect them. They just need you to actually show up for them. They need you to be strong in yourself. Where this other person, this trauma bond you have with this other person requires you to be weak in yourself. And that's what this comes down to. I really think there's some kind of hook here that this person that claims to be a mentor. So it could be, I think it's a lot of things. It's like money. That's how these people build their relationships. It's based on a lack of self-confidence. It's based on bullying and ostracizing. Like if you're, and like homogeny. Like if you're not with us, you're against us. You know, it's like that kind of thing. So everybody's got to be the same, and everybody's got to fall in line. Everybody loses their power, and there's like a single person here that gains. And they all ruin chances and opportunities for each other, but they don't like necessarily see that clearly. Somebody here just cowers like in the presence of another person, but it's like they'll run off and they'll build something with you, because it's the natural part of themselves, the part of themselves that naturally knows what they want. You know, a dog naturally wants to go run around in the sunshine. So when they get a chance to do it, no matter how well they've been trained, when they get to do it, man, they're going to freaking love it. They're going to be like, I'm a dog and this is what I was meant for. And like throw that stick, you know, this is funny. Yeah. So there's something here like that. And that's where you meet this person and you're like, oh my gosh, my person. And then it becomes a trauma bond with them, because then all of a sudden it's like, dun, 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 and then they're like, oh, I wasn't loving that person. I don't have sweet emotions. I hate love. Okay? I just hurt people all the time. Smoking, drinking, ganging up. Smoking, drinking, ganging up. And you're like, who the fuck are you? And then they're like, punch her in the face. And then they're like, okay, by the way, throw your son in that river. And they're like, okay. And it's like, what? Like, that's what's going on here. Somebody needs to learn how to stand up for themselves. But they numb out with the vice. And it's like a baby sucking on a bottle. It's just like one other hit and it just like calms them to sleep. But again, I think that it puts up obstacles and barriers maybe to proper society or to healthier relationships or something, because I'm hearing you're also learning that it's a collar and it gives people a reason. That's that ostracizing, because and this person could just have this effect where it's like they're so gnarly and nasty that maybe this is your mom, like for some of you, and that person's so overbearing and so controlling, and you're just an anxious mess, and so you're just puffing down the cigarettes in your room, like she wasn't like, smoke this cigarette, because we all smoke cigarettes, but trying to ostracize you from people who don't like to smoke, right? Because some people will do that because they know that some people, like, they're going to protect their kids from it, or they're going to, like, so some people, it is actively that. They know that, like, they're putting you on the fringe. Like, I just heard ne'er-do-well, like, gang activity I'm getting from the past. They know that if they're, like, drink this liquor and go rob that corner store, that all of a sudden people are going to start realizing that you're the guy that goes in there and robs the corner store. And they're going to be like, well, I'm trying to start my business, and I don't want you to come in here. So it's like ostracizing. That's what it is. They like that. There's something, it links to some kind of ostracization, which then feeds this negative cycle of you not feeling good enough. So the thing is to cut clean ties with this, to get like away from this influence that makes you so nervous, that you got to turn to the bottle, or you got to turn to the, like, whatever addiction this is. I'm really strongly feeling like this is some kind of oral fixation. And this is like some kind of Mars issue as well, because Mars is a soldier. And I also think that this links back to a masculine emasculated. That's what I'm hearing, emasculated. But a masculine that either you were linked to in a past life, or there's some kind of masculine life, because all men are ruled over by Mars. Mars is a soldier. So the question for all men is, who are you loyal to? What's the higher voice that you follow? And the answer to that question will make or break you. And so this person says, I'm loyal to my overbearing mother, or I'm over to my gang leader that reminds me a lot of my overbearing mother. There's like an overbearing mother energy here, because they see everything and they see in the dark. Instead of saying, I'm loyal to spirit, I'm loyal to higher principles, finding somebody here like that they can look up to that's like very well-rounded, and that's like very, I don't know, like a imam or a priest or somebody that they respect, that has garnered their masculinity or their leadership in the right ways and not the wrong ways, and that has healthy things to learn. It feels like somebody here is just desperate for association. They're just desperate to be liked by any and everybody. And I just heard, judge me by my enemies. So they haven't learned that it's actually very endearing and comforting to some people that you're like, that gang leader over there, don't fuck with that. And don't come over here either. It's like that kind of thing, building up like a proper community. I'm really strongly getting like a militia forming to like oppose like this person or whatever it is. It's like, you come over here, I got horns too, and we're about to lock them. It's something like that. It's just, and I also heard like moxie. Some of you need to get comfortable with your moxie, like, oh, fuck yeah. Something like that. Like just, this is like taking control of like your own self here, because I'm really seeing a dog in this, and it's like, this is like very Sagittarius energy too, where it's like the lower animal part of self and rising into the higher human part of self, and how you go about doing that. But when you're in that animal part of self, it's like that dog energy can be trained. And how is it going to be trained? Because I'm seeing the whistles and the jumping and the whatever. And that's that Mars energy. What whistle am I going for? What whistle? Is it this internal, instinctual? The dog knows what it needs instinctually. But this is fear. So it's this competing nature of love and fear. And the fear and the control and the domination of like this other person, this is a karmic from way back. Like this is like a karmic you've been tangling with for like a long period of time. And they're trying to get you to help them hunt too, because I remember hearing that there was some kind of association between crows and wolves, and it actually forms, oh my gosh, it actually shapes the formation of rivers. So I'm hearing like this has way more of an impact than you even realize. Like you opposing this, and other people will potentially follow suit. Okay, and I'm also seeing Toothless in How to Train Your Dragon, where Toothless is like small and he's toothless, but like they find that like secret button or whatever, then he's got the teeth, and then they find out that he's actually a this kind of thing and he can breathe fire, and then he becomes the captain or whatever it was, the leader of them. And he actually is fighting these like giant dragons that are like coming out of and he can, because he learns what his skill is. So there's something here that you're comparing yourself to with this person where it's like that. Don't compare that's not where your strength is. You're comparing like your weakest part to their strongest part. And that's the only reason why you're intimidated. And I just heard that Albert Einstein quote that says, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it'll live its whole life thinking it's stupid. And you're living your whole life thinking that you're weak or you're subservient to this other person, but you're like toothless. It's like, once you realize, oh wait, I got teeth here. Oh, now I'm not so scared of you. Oh wait, I can breathe fire. Whoops, you better run. It's something like that. It's like you haven't unlocked your power here. And this person feeds off of that. But also I'm linking back to like the wolves, because crows actually somehow use wolves to hunt. Or like they use wolves to somehow, I don't know, it's like they know how to read wolves. They actually kind of work together in some kind of way that I remember learning about this. Like we didn't understand like the nature of them. So this person's trying to get you and potentially like a pack of dogs here to like go hunt for it, to go do its bidding. And it changes the shape of the landscape. It changes the shape of the river. Whereas if you turn around and you go, get your own food, then the river is actually going to form in a different way. And I'm taking this to mean like society. And your town, relationships form up a different way. Because this energy is nasty and it needs to be opposed, and it's very selfish. And I think this energy is strong. Okay, it's a threat and it's very cunning and it's very intelligent. You're right to know that it like sees every little thing about you. It does. But you're not helpless here. This is an angry person. This is just like some kind of angry, controlling person. And they see your shadow. So this does have to do with shadow work, because owls see at night, right? They're nocturnal. They hunt at night. It's for some reason, it's just telling me this person, so they could operate in like a bar scene, nightclub. I just heard nightclub. They operate in the seedier aspects of like, they see, this is blackmail. They see things and then they record things and then they get things and then I know about this, and it'd be a really shame if your Nana found out that you were out doing blow. It's stuff like that. So you got to learn how to say no to this, and you got to learn to be your own best friend. You got to learn how to be alone, I think. And it might actually go against your instinct, because dogs are pack animals, but it's like you got to learn how to be alone and how to go. I'm actually linking this to like a rite of passage, where it's like, if this is a masculine energy that I'm talking about. And again, I'm hearing emasculated. So this is a masculine energy. And it's weird because I feel like whoever this is, okay, because I'm seeing a masculine, there's a wife and a kid. That's Luna. Emotions. There's, and they follow this leader. Okay, but this leader is full of shit. They're cunning, but they're full of shit. So they tell this masculine, oh, it's emasculating for you to be like a family man, or for you to be upright in character. That's girly. That's emasculating. You're not a man unless you're being a ne'er-do-well. Okay, true men are ne'er-do-wells, when in reality, true men actually are, well, masculine energy. This is what I'm talking about. It's like they can go their own way. They can actually oppose something, like, because it's that sun energy. It's Mars growing into the sun energy. So they have to learn how to kind of stand on their own. That's real masculine energy. And so it's where you like apply that and towards what ends. So they've got this masculine convinced that it's manly to suck, instead of like being manly it's like, where do you guard? You're going to guard this asshole that's out here harming people? Or are you going to guard like your son? Like, it's something like that. Your wife and son, and like being around that and being like, this is what's good in the world. This is what like this is a past life. This is definitely a past life. And so it's about mind control. It's about thinking for yourself. But that's somehow linked to a weakness around a social group. But you're going to, okay, so I didn't really complete this thought earlier, but that's what this is about. Like why I was getting toothless. It's like, you need to go off on your own. You're going to learn that you've got teeth and flames, and then you're the alpha. The group is going to come up around you. And now you've got a group, and these people are, it's an axis. It's an opposite axis that's forming to oppose this energy. And I just heard, and you won't need money because you won't be alone. So, for some, it's like, maybe there's money is a hook over here. I mean, this person would just use, it's all scorpionic things. It's hidden, it's seedy, it's underhanded, under the table. I just heard under the table. Yeah, I'm seeing like a gun under a table and like money under a table. Something happened. This person is like the queen or king of dog whistle abuse. It's very quiet power. It's very like, we both know what I can do to you. Like they just can, like with a look, they control people kind of thing, And it would be best in future lives, like, to not involve with this person at all, to have enough like inner strength to not involve with this person at all. But what you're actually supposed to do, because I think you're looking around like, who should I follow? Who should I follow? And I'm looking for my comfort. And actually, I think you need to turn away from your comfort, because they're linking this to a masculine rite of passage. You have to turn away. Comes a time, I'm hearing, this is all very masculine, but it's like, there comes a time in a man's life when he's got to turn away from his mom and the comfort of like home and go off on his own. And he's got to prove himself. And so I feel like you need to spend a significant amount of time alone. You need to reject some kind of offer of friendship here from whatever this is. You need to go off on your own, like in the woods, and, you know, that masculine rite of passage, like be alone for 2 weeks in a cave. You learn that you can survive on your own, but then you learn the value of society, which in the studies that I've done, it's like learning the value of society is learning the value of women and everything that comes with women. Because women rule over, again, relationships, harmony, beauty, crafts, art, beauty. Like, it's, yes, you can make it on your own, but it's a really lonely, stark existence. And this is like very roving gang of men, like energy. And it kind of reminds me as well, like, you know, companies literally want to put their businesses where women feel comfortable to walk alone and where women congregate in groups alone, because it's a sign of money, because it's Venus. Venus rules over luxury and money and commerce, right? So they're like, oh yeah, I want to do that because that's a good neighborhood. Where a woman who likes to spend money and oftentimes does spend the money for the family goes. When you have packs of men, like especially alone during the middle of the day, that's the opposite energy. That's a militia just like waiting to occur. So it's about valuing women and like the harmony that society brings. Yes, you can, you know, you learn that you can make it on your own, but it's so nice to come home to a home cooked meal. And yeah, you don't need that throw blanket, but it's kind of nice when she puts it out. Like, you know, it's that kind of stuff. Like, and this masculine, whether this is you, maybe this is a past masculine life for you, or maybe this is somebody that you were dealing with that threw you under the bus consistently in order to side with this like literal terrible human being. And you don't want this person's eyes on you either. You don't want this person with a target on your back. And you would have a target on your back naturally because love is a threat to this person's control. I just channeled a message. It hasn't gone up yet. That was one of the central themes. It was like somebody here recognizes the control of love. And so this masculine has genuine love for you, and it's an axis. It's another axis. You know what's deeply unfair is I'm literally seeing like a wife and a child. Okay, so it's like a little woman and a child, and they're like, on a soul level, there's like a lot of internal strength because it's like, I have the strength to be the polar opposite axis to this raging asshole. But you don't have anything to protect you. You're not as strong as him. You don't even know this is coming at you, okay? But you're just out there. Okay. Something is probably going to end me in a vicious manner. But like that was what was going on in a past life. And you were waiting, you were there for this masculine to turn around because it was like a love connection between the two of you. But he needed to turn tail, and then he needs to like be here. And then other guys were going to do it too. They were going to be like, you know what, actually, I like my woman and I like the stew that she makes. And she makes me these warm, fuzzy slippers. And honestly, what do you bring to the table? Chaos, fighting. You've honestly been a plague upon this community. What if we want to have a nice business in this community? What if we'd like to be a commerce center? We could actually do something. You know, Joe over here, he can sew. You know, him over here, he can build. You know, like, what are we doing? This is reminding me of, I took a class back in college, and my teacher was a expert in gangs. He was an expert in gang activity. He worked for like the police force or something. And we got to meet a couple of like these gang members that were like kind of reformed, because he was like, I started to learn that these are very intelligent people that are like intellectually stifled, and every single thing that they were doing, they were building enterprises, they were building businesses. They just weren't doing it in a legitimate manner. But if you can do it over here, you can do it in the proper way. You know, you can file for your business license. You can be out in the light of day. So it's just a matter of like getting that switch over. And a lot of times that has to do with self-esteem. And a lot of times these guys don't have fathers. Somebody dignified, somebody who can like actually show them the way. And I just heard it's about being that for your community as well. So it's like, once you figure it out, it's like, this is big brother, big sister, like that kind of organization. This is like, okay, yeah, I take care of mine, but like I take care of the community, and we all help out, and like we all are shining lights, because it's like once one person's light goes on, then it's going to inspire somebody else, and then the other person's light's going to go on. I just heard like that number 2 person is like the most important, because then it can like really actually catch on. And then all of a sudden you've got several men in a community that are actually living up to themselves and being very good examples for like the young boys. And now you don't have roving idiots like around that are just traumatizing and pillaging everything. You don't have that. But I really think that, it's about, an addiction here is a teacher. It's about understanding your addiction and where it comes from. Addiction is always coping. Whether it's you're addicted to your phone, whether you're addicted to sex, whether you're addicted to drugs, whether you're addicted to whatever it is that you're addicted to, addiction is not love. And it comes from a place of wanting to socialize. So maybe this is like, I want to socialize with people, but like, I don't want to put together a team. Like I'm thinking about where I grew up, like we had this place where you could like just put together a team and then like, for flag football or like, it's like, I don't want to do that and hang out. I could just go to the bar and like drink. And that's where I meet these ne'er-do-wells. And then we rove around like a gang and we tear down our community and all of our loving relationships. And, cause that's what men do. And literally everybody else is like, that's what children do. And that's what assholes do. There are certainly men that are assholes, but assholes are not men. That's not like being like manly. So it's about, and somebody here does know that, I think. Like they're just a coward. They're just like nervous and scared to stand up to it. And that's what gives them some kind of, I feel like somebody here is like prone to addiction. Yes, they're entrepreneurs. Yeah. Hey babe, is everything okay in the comment section? Okay. Like some of the things that I'm seeing, it's like, it could be if it's a pattern, and I think I've seen some kind of pattern here, but I'm not entirely sure. Okay. Hey. So, all right. That's what I've got there. This definitely, like, I feel like somebody here needs like a 12-step program, but it's like for codependency. Get a 12-step program for like, and if you can learn to break the addiction, this is building trust in yourself. And I do think this group needs to learn how to be alone. I think it's the last thing that you want to do because you don't think you can stand on your own legs, and you really can. And once you learn that you can, I think you're going to find that you have some actual natural knack or capability or skill that you can really, I just heard, profit from. And there's something here like that. Yeah. That's the whole toothless thing of like finding your teeth, finding your fire. And so working a 12-step program, I also think that for some of you, you're actually going to choose to be alone in this life. I just heard the monastery is waiting for you. So it's like once you get clean and everything, like that might actually unlock some kind of spiritual experience. And if you're worried about like money or anything, like you're technically not supposed to go to the monastery for these reasons. But I just saw Shiva, because Shiva is masculinity. He kind of rules over men and healthy men. He is the god of destruction because that masculine force is the force of Thanos, which is why the masculine path is one of discipline, is because that feminine energy is the life-giving energy. You can sprinkle that shit everywhere and it will make things better. And there's like, I don't think it was Freud that pointed this out, but it's like the womb envy kind of thing. It's not that. It's just like, I think sometimes you can hear this little man syndrome come from like the more masculine sides of society where it's like, well, why did they get to sprinkle their shit everywhere? And it's just like, well, because you rule the death principle. That's why. And you cannot sprinkle death energy everywhere and have things prosper. It's got to be disciplined. It's got to be intentional. It's got to be applied in this, in a very specific, skillful manner, which is why Mars rules over men. They've got to be skillful in directing that energy. And you've got to have a certain amount of respect. So I just saw Shiva, which he rules over the family life, which I feel like this man, this is his actual like path. There's a woman and a son here that he's supposed to like build and connect with. But if he goes over here, he may well have a woman and a son that are maybe with this person, or I don't know. If he fuels that in him, I don't know. But it's like his natural path is like maybe one of like the householder path, But that path is a path of discipline, and that's important. And it's because that masculine energy shouldn't run you. You should run it. You should learn how to be disciplined, how to control it, because you not running it means this guy's running it. This guy's running it. This guy's profiting off of it. For some of you, this is like fresh and fit, this is like, maybe there's nobody like in their life, but it's like it's all these incels that are like, they fall prey to these like cult leaders because they're insecure, and because, you know, it's like they treat people badly, and then like, I don't know. I feel like you understand where I'm coming from with that. But so I just saw Shiv. So it's like this householder path. So if that's not open to you, the other path is the monastery. But Shiv, I'm seeing like Shiv saying, I ended this, and come home to me, and I will give you shelter. I'll give you some kind of shelter, but you're also going to be like learning what you need, because I think somebody here needs to learn how to be alone in order to actually reclaim like the path that they're supposed to like be on or something. So bye, George. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was asking, is like if that DOG needs to be blocked, because I saw them make some kind of like messed up comment earlier, and I was like, they were just trying to throw some kind of hot potato of negativity into our space, which I really don't appreciate. There's certain things with like there's certain things my husband's just looking at me lovingly on the screen. I saw it. I saw there's one thing about processing, and like we can all hold space. I really don't mind that. But this like attacking and it's like undermining energy, like that's something different. See how like we just oppose that? And who knows, maybe he's like this dog energy, and it's like I want community, but I don't know how to build community without flicking people in the face. And it's like, well, just don't. Okay.
It's exactly that masculine that you were talking about too. Like,
Oh my gosh, yeah, it showed up. It
was like,
let me rove my gang over here.
are you talking about me?
Yeah. I love it. So energy, how it fits the energy each time. Is it unhealthy to be addicted to YouTube readings? I would say if you're addicted to YouTube readings, yeah. Like the readings aren't what's bad, but if that's what you're using as an addiction, it's about having that like healthy relationship. But you say like you love your reader so much. Well, loving your reader so much, that's not like the addiction. It's like, is this something that you genuinely enjoy doing? You know, that's not the same thing as like an addiction, you know?
It's not something that you should rely on as, you know, like a crutch
Yeah.
for your life. But if it's something that actually provides you benefit and that it's actually like doing you good, that's different than like an addiction is like you can't help but, you know, engage with it because this is the only thing that like actually makes you feel whatever it is that you're getting out of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a tool. Kimmy said he was triggered. I hope he heals. Yes, I love that. I love that this is like the kind of group that we are, where it's like, we're going to address it. It's like, no, this is inappropriate. We don't stand for that. But it's, everybody here is like, you're having a human experience. Peace be with you. All right. I love all my goofballs. It's good confirmation. It was good confirmation. You're right. Okay. So moving on to pile number 3, if you're new here, these are the pile selections. We've already done piles number 1 and 2, which was the bridge and the animal. And we're moving on here to the unseen, which is pile number 3. Compassion. Yeah, let's compassion for a second. Compassion. Yeah. Total goofball hugs. I hope the DOG heals. Oh my gosh, did that person just like run off and make that account? Because we were talking about the dog energy.
No, it's not a new account.
Oh, okay.
I looked into it. I always do.
Well, what are the odds of that, huh?
We don't just drop the ban hammer on people here.
We really don't. Yeah.
I'm very meticulous about how I approach it.
Yeah, and sometimes like we'll talk about it and we'll be like, yeah, that kind of made me uncomfortable, but I mean, sometimes that's just a part of being human, you know? Okay, dog puns. He needs to go to the park. Yeah, he needs to take himself out for a walk. He needs to get his energy out. Okay. I'm just going to sit here for a second. I'm just going to enjoy my moment. Oh my gosh, I love the way this smells. Rose water. All right. Origins. I just heard the word origins. So this is pile number 3. It's the unseen. Oh my gosh. I sprayed so much of that. And I knew it. I was being obnoxious on purpose. Because I like to be obnoxious on purpose sometimes. Because I'm a ham. But it just soaked my card. Okay. Okay. Pile number 3. I haven't really pulled any cards. Not many of them. I got this new deck. It's called Messages of Love. They're all called Messages of Love, aren't they? But They are. I'm sorry, but they are. A lot of decks are called messages of love, and it makes it hard for me to keep like in track in my head. Oh, Lady Tarot said, I love the support you and Alex have for each other. My broken husband had plans to be with me on my channel, but he ran away. I just divorced him yesterday. My heart is broken. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay. So moving on to pile number 3 here. Past lives. What past lives? I just heard, I can see clearly now the rain has gone. Unworthy. Unworthy gossip. Okay, I definitely think that, okay. Well, gossip definitely plays like a strong role in this past life. So, okay, so I'm seeing somebody, this is like, I just heard yellow belly, coward. That's a coward, right? A yellow belly. I don't know where that comes from. If that's offensive, I'm sorry. I just heard that and I honestly don't know what it means. So if it's linked to some kind of group, then that might have played a part here in this past life, or there could have been racism or xenophobia. But okay, I feel like this had to do with traveling from one country to another. And honestly, in a past life, this may have had to do with like an army, like either rolling into town or taking over a certain place and then being like, I don't know. But I can see somebody here looking at you with like some kind of like longing. This is like a group of people though. So there was a lot of jealousy, envy, and evil eye on you, but it was spoken about in a very negative way, like with this gossip, because these people ultimately like felt unworthy, but I feel like they were trying to make you feel unworthy. And I think it's because you were possibly this mentor energy, and you could have been small in that past life, or there was something about you that, oh, I see. There's something about you on the surface that they wanted to mean that you were small. So that could have been the race that you were. So if this army came like rolling into town, but you were a local and they're like, yeah, we hate these people, because it's a way for them to run away from their empathy of like what they just did potentially to this like entire town or something. And so they're like, yeah, you're one of them. So like you're less than us. So it could have been like, again, your race or your ethnicity or like where you were from, the language that you spoke, I just heard. Or you could have been actually physically small. There was something about you physically that they wanted to mean. Whatever that was, they felt like they could take shots at you because of that. But actually, all these people were very intimidated by you, and you have this like inner strength. And I think that's something that you were meant to see, because I'm flashing back to another reading that I did like back in the day where I was seeing like one of those grandfather clocks. You know, it's like, okay, there's a clock here, and then like it hangs down. And I was seeing that like the hang down part was Pluto, like your Pluto, like the clock part was maybe your sun. So you could have been like maybe a Virgo, very punctual, very like, you know, time management, or you like helped keep people on time. Oh, so you could have even been like a manager or something, but it's like there's you and you're elevated in some way. But then there's this other group of people. So you could have been like, okay, we need to whatever. And I can see that it's like helpful. And I can see that you're just very like, it's a Swiss Army knife, whatever. And also I'm seeing some people watch you like in a pub for some of you. So you could have like ran your own bar. You could have worked at a bar. You were just very organized and very efficient. And like, you can see the class is what I'm hearing. You can see, all of your inner strengths and talents like kind of come together in whatever it was that you were doing. But so anyways, that's your sun energy with the clock. But then the Pluto was beneath it. So this could have been a Sun-Pluto opposition, and I'm kind of getting like the sun on the midheaven where you're shining like the sun. And that had to do with like your career, your philosophy, your personhood, your leadership skills. Like people could naturally see this in you, even though I feel like you had yet to see this in yourself. I think you did the job. I think you did it diligently. And I think that you did it to be of service, and because that was what was expected to you, and because you're a person that likes to contribute to like society around you. But then that Pluto was like beneath. And I think in that life, and possibly in this life, you came from Pluto, because this would be in your 4th house of like, that's your origins, that's your family, that's like your home. So a war-torn country is very much that, like, because that Cancer house can also be country. So when it's like Pluto, you've got Scorpio there, it's like a war-torn country, or again, it's a very dysfunctional family where there's potentially like a lot of abuses or a lot of secrets kind of going on. But this is very like the lotus emerging from that. So you rose up from that in order to shine in this career capacity. But these people didn't see all the things that you went through. They weren't trying to see your humanity. And instead, I feel like they traumatized you in some way. But there was like a collusion or something, because I'm seeing this like little ball of negativity, and it's all these people, and it's all this like very scorpionic energy, and it's all very gossipy, and it's all very nitpicky. So they are where you are detail oriented, and you kind of hone in on things in a very real way. Funny bone. Some of you could be very funny. Oh, but like now I'm doing like this. So they hate your funniness. They hate They hate it. They hate you. These people hate you, but they pretend like they like you. So this could also go on in this life. I know I pick up on these kinds of themes. Throat chakra. This could have had to do with, like around your neck. Something could have happened around your neck. But these people colluded, and it was like in secret. And this gossip is like, pss, pss. And really, if everything on the inside if God snapped her fingers and everything on the inside was made clear on the outside, you would see how unworthy these people were. All it would be like is like, I'm unworthy, I'm unworthy, I'm unworthy. That's all they're really saying to each other on some kind of deep level. But instead they try to make you feel unworthy. And so these people, I'm hearing they get off on degrading your energy, on like trying to pull you down because you're so great. So I feel like you had some kind of mistreatment here in this particular life, but you're detached from this. You possibly did. They see you as this person, like even in this past life, like they saw you as this like balanced, detached person, glowy skin. Like I had to let this go so I could clear my mind. Yeah. So I feel like you detached from this energy, and these people are obsessed with you, and they're like looking in, they're trying to figure out what it is that you're doing. These people are obsessed with you. And they reminisce. Okay, so this is very confusing energy because these people this is a very annoying group. Okay, because I feel like they're one way to your face, and then they are another way behind your back. And when they were one way to your face, I think they actually built up some kind of connection and relationship with you that felt really good. It felt really nice. Like your sun energy, you were leading them. You were teaching them. You were guiding them. You could have been shining a light on some kind of like philosophy. You were leading. You had this leadership quality that they benefited from. But they were jealous. They were envious. They wanted to be that for themselves. They wanted to steal it. So this is very Judas. You know, when the crow strikes 3 times, when the crow... Cock-a-doodle thrice. Whenever the sun comes up, why am I so fixated on this? Whenever the rooster crows, you will have betrayed me 3 times. Something like that. It's something like that. And then so it's like also a betrayal at night. And then the sun comes back around for the daytime. And all of a sudden these people want to act right. All of a sudden these people are upright in character and like, hey, how you doing? But then at nighttime, it's like betrayal. They could have betrayed you with schmegs. They could have betrayed you with violence. They could have betrayed you with gossip. It's really just gossip. It's like this off-gassing. So I feel like you're really a gift from God to these people because honestly, I need to tell you this. Your karmas do not stipulate you have to be there. I really think this is teacher energy. Oh, and then they're showing me Gemini and Sagittarius. Gemini and Sagittarius, very interesting signs. They're opposite each other, so they have that kind of connection. And they're both mutable signs. But they have this ever so slight enemy energy. Like there's certain like ways to understand astrology, certain like, what do you call it? Structures of astrology, schools. There we go. Schools of astrology that kind of part of the way that they kind of learn about the signs is like certain signs are friends, certain signs are enemies, and certain signs are neutral. Well, in Vedic, at least, like Gemini and Sagittarius can have this like ever so slight enemy energy. And Sagittarius is the teacher and Gemini is a student. So, and if you've ever been a teacher to children or you have kids or something, you know that like, think back to like that teacher. It's like one teacher in a room of 30 kids and they drive them bonkers. They drive them mad. But the teacher, right, Sagittarius energy cannot react in their animalistic instinct. Like, shut down, you fuckers. Like, you know, they can't be like, they have to be elevated no matter what the stupid little kids do. Okay. Like this one's throwing a spitball and this one's like, no matter what the stupid little children are doing around them, the teacher has to remain elevated and calm and guide, even though they're on their last nerve. That's that enemy kind of energy. And the student wants to just throw the spitball, be a little wiggly worm in their seat. But the teacher is saying, nope, we got to put our focus here now. And it's helping them. But it's this ever so slight hidden enemy energy. And I feel like that's what's going on here. You absolutely do not have to be here with these people. You absolutely do not have to be near these people. You are choosing to in order to help them because you can see their Pluto. Or you can shine a light on their Pluto. And I think it has to do with your sun energy, your leadership, your professionalism. And it was a trigger for these people. It shines a light on their Pluto. And really, you really get to know somebody when their Pluto is activated, because it will either, I think what it did for you, because I'm seeing these people take a whack at like, try to whack your Pluto. So they could have traumatized you in some way, or they could have pulled some kind of like really nasty, messed up shit, but you just keep growing from that because you've mastered your Pluto. I'm hearing you're actually a very Plutonic person for a lot of you. You could have a very significant Pluto in your chart. That would be on the midheaven. That's a very psychic person too. But having Pluto on an angle like that would be just like a very strong like energy. So it's like you mastered your Pluto and that's why you have the sun energy. These people are just jealous of you because they're like, oh, well, that person's just the sun energy. Bitch, you started off as Pluto. They don't know that. They don't care to know that. And so what that is I'm hearing I'm the way, the hope, and the life, or something like that. It's like you are the hope. Because if you could start off as Pluto and be the sun, you're proving that it can be done. I feel like a lot of these people are in like lack mentality, some I can't bullshit. Because Pluto is power. It's like our own personal power. So they've buried certain things. And I think what they buried is all these things that you have, like being punctual, being steady, all these things that are like you attribute to your success, right? So, ugh. Oh my gosh, why can't I think of, what is a sign that opposes Virgo? Virgo is the 6th house. So, it's Pisces, duh. Oh, victim martyr. So I feel like they are, I think you make sacrifices and you're very service oriented, and they might, this gossip energy, like she's such a martyr, and meanwhile you're just giving of a loving, joyful heart. I just heard you have a grateful heart. Like you have a loving, giving heart, even if you get like overwhelmed or like whatever, but you never let it drop. You never drop the ball because you have a loving heart, and you are a very pro-social person, and you always show up for people. And that's why these people ultimately hate themselves, because actually when they go back and they're like, I was talking such mad shit. I did this and I did that. This person never gave up on me. This person never once tipped it. And you had the power in the situation. I think you easily could have destroyed any one of these people. I think a glance from you, a look from you, and actually these people respect you because I think that you were always very loving. I think even though these people had this secret collusion, if once in public you looked at one of these people and you were like, the fuck is wrong with you? Everybody in that group would have been like, the fuck is wrong with that guy? Something's really the fuck wrong with that guy. If that person, so you have this power, like even to these people that like, where they would sort of instinctually know that something is actually wrong with you. And this person would go back to that group and be like, can you believe that she said that? And those people would be like, I mean, yeah. But they're also going to be like, you have this weakness. So, because you can shine a light on somebody's Pluto. I think you can also dress people down, but I don't think that you do dress people down. Like you see very clearly. Because once you open your mouth to somebody, when you're like, I am so deeply sorry that nobody raised you and that you don't have any virtues and that you don't know how to act. And then you want to say why somebody's fucked up. Oh, you can dress somebody down and you're going to hit every fucking nail because you're not in your ego defense mechanisms. You show up, you do the work, and it lands. You hit these people's Pluto, but you can be trusted with that by spirit because of who you are. And so nobody really wants to mess with you, or they're going to find out the hard way. Kim, thank you so much for the super chat. Like they're going to find out the hard way. It's very impactful. And so I think a lot of these people are going to learn the restraint that you have. Like there's such a power in your energy and they're all jealous and they all want it. And you are so giving, you're like, this is the way. And it's whatever they buried in their shadow. Be punctual. Virgo, it's like be punctual, be of service, be reliable, be, detail oriented. Do that. And I think part of it too, like if you were like this martyr that they were calling you, you wouldn't have been if these people were pulling their weight. That was the invitation by spirit. It's like, you were like, oh my gosh, because you're paying attention to the details. And they don't. I kind of get the sense that these people are sloppy. My grandpa used to say, he was a very successful person. I think I shared this not too long ago, but he was like, anything worth spending your time doing is worth spending your time doing well. Nothing is beneath you. You have one life to live. And yes, there's infinite possibilities, but in the end, you only have ever lived one life. So what you're doing, you might as well do it well. You might as well really connect with it, pour yourself into it. It doesn't matter if it's not something, if you feel like it's something demeaning. And he always told me, I remember him teaching me how to sweep. I think I told you guys that story where he was like, come here, I want to teach you how to sweep. And I was like, this man must think I'm absolutely stupid. But he was like, he had built this successful business from the ground up. He's a very, very inspiring person. He lived a very inspiring life. He won so many awards in his life. I mean, this man was truly impressive. And he said, I run this business. I'm the boss around here, but nobody, and I mean nobody, sweeps this floor better than I do. And he was basically saying, and that's why I'm successful. And I feel like that's why you were saying what you were trying to show these people. And it was coming from such a good place. It's just these people are so decrepit, like within themselves. And now they reminisce about all the time that they've lost. These are people that just waste their time. There's a real time factor here. They could have wasted your time. They just drag their feet and they do it as a power move, is what I'm hearing. They do it as a power move where you make use of your time because you're so pro-social and you're like, I can get this done for you in 3 minutes. And like you do that. And of course people want to work with you. And of course people like being around you because you're showing that I respect your time. I respect you. These people don't, and they drag their feet, and then they piss people off. They do it as a power move. These people use time as a power move. This is annoying. This is a truly atrocious energy to be around. And then I think these people have the audacity, and they're like, I don't know why I never get chosen as a promotion. And it's like, well, let's see. You're a dick. You are controlling. You are sloppy. You're not punctual. Anytime somebody asks you to just show up in a manner that's sane, you believe you're being attacked. So don't let that confuse you anymore. Let's just demystify that situation. And now these people are like, I think that it's too late for me to like make things right. And it's like, I'm also hearing leave a good name behind you in case you seek to return. And I think these people just got sucked into like a sea of negativity with a bunch of like very low vibrational people. And they're like, I actually want to try. But like they distract each other from trying. Dishonesty. I just heard dishonor. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow. From Mulan. Mushu. By lying, I ripped us apart. Yeah, because these people lie. You know why? Because you're really great. And I'm not saying that you don't make mistakes, but I'm also saying like the fuck is wrong with people that they can't allow a person. I feel like these people nitpicked you. Like any little thing that you did wrong. And honestly, you're the person that's trying the hardest in the space. And it's really admirable. And these people couldn't give you your props. They couldn't give you your flowers in this situation. Instead, they just like tore it down. Like you kiss ass, you martyr. And really, I think these people, that's what they thought of you. They knew better though. But it's like, they were like, you kiss ass, you martyr, you know? These people are cowards too. But really it comes from a grateful heart. And sun is heart energy. It's Leo energy. And it rules over the 5th house. So the 5th house is romance. It's theater. It's legacy. It's legacy. And so I feel like you succeed in these areas. And it's children as well too. Kids might really like you. You might work with kids. Yeah, like or you make people feel like kids, like you're very playful or something. It's that beautiful heart-oriented energy, this sun energy. And these people hated you for it. This is nasty. So anytime somebody brings heart energy around these people, they're like rabid dogs, could be a connection to pile number 2, just tearing it up. And it's like, and then these people are like, I don't know why nobody wants to be around me. And it's like, don't let that confuse you, honey. Don't let, it's an intelligence issue if you don't understand that. Yeah, so now they're reminiscing, you're gone. I feel like a part of me is missing without you. And it's because one of you is worth 1,000 of these dweebs. One of you. You could replace every single one of these people 10 times over. Every single one. And you are more valuable than like 10 of one of these people. 10 replicas of that. Because of who you are and how you show up in the world. And these people are in your past life. I'm kind of getting that a lot of you guys left this behind for good because I think you realized that there was some dishonesty going on, that people were lying about you. Slander. They were slandering your name. And I think you're over it. Yeah, you left the situation. And these people were running from their problems because you triggered their Pluto and that was a call to heal. But instead they just, because there were so many of them, I feel like they didn't want to heal. Instead, they could just circle jerk each other. And they could have been circle jerking each other to just distract. It's kind of seedy. It's kind of gross. Your Scorpio stellium in the 5th. Oh my gosh. The Lightheart Alchemist said, nobody ever talked about how Mushu just murdered the Great Stone Dragon. Like WTF, man. I always think about that too. Like now when I saw that movie as an adult, I was like, oh my gosh, the cruelty. Yeah, these people were also indecisive. Okay, so these people, there's a dragging their feet around time. They weaponize it. They use it as a power move. I really feel strongly that this is in career too. So it could have been that you were a leader, or you were a boss, and you were like, I need you to get this done. And this person's like, I find it appropriate and strategic and helpful to drag my feet in regards of getting something done for my team and my boss. And then they don't understand that like they reap what they sow. Yeah, of course, you don't think highly of them. There's nothing wrong with you not thinking highly of them. They suck. Like, but because they had time on their side, they thought that they had time on their side, and they thought that they had this nasty, gnarly group on their side, and they wanted to weaponize that as some kind of like power structure here. These are people who should never have power, by the way, as well too. Soul tie. I always feel connected to you. These people actually feel really good in your presence. These people actually do love you. It's just that they're smart with their mouth, I heard. I don't like this energy at all. I don't have time for it. Time is a real thing here. Oh, so they could have dragged their feet around making some kind of decision. Could be to leave this group. I think you know what's crazy? Every single person that was involved in this group wanted out of it. Every single one. Every single one was sitting there internally thinking, I really need to make a decision to leave this group. Tick tock, tick tock. Like, I need to pick a side. And it really is the side of like good and evil. None of these people wanted to be hanging out with each other, circle jerking each other. None of these people wanted to be involved with it. But yet they all like were, this is nasty. Confusion. So this was like in a past life, but it's also in this life. Damage. Look at the damage. Yeah. Yeah, damage. We are both hurting from this. Well, they hurt you intentionally, and you gave all this beautiful light, got treated badly, and got hurt from that. It's not the same. These people need to stop being abusive. I don't like this energy at all. This is the energy that I have no time for. You want to be an abusive asshole? Dishonor. These are the kind of people I feel we should ostracize, actually. Like, it's like, oh, and I feel like some people actually did feel called to that. It's like, because somebody took your kindness for weakness. And other people are like, instead of being, I don't know, it's like, no, we like kind people in our group. We want kind people, good people. This group really soured. So when you see somebody mistreating a kind person because they're kind, you really need to not laugh. You really need to be like, we don't do that around here. And actually, the kind of person that we don't like in this group is a strategic bullying asshole that's underhanded. So you can sit over there because one bad apple is going to spoil the whole bunch. And if it's a choice between a nice, kind person and a dick like you got to go sit over there. And all of us are going to make sure that you go sit over there. Because nobody, who wants to be friends with you? We want to be friends with a nice, kind person, not a dickweed. Oh, yellow belly, black snake. So that might be something worth looking up. I don't like this energy at all. I don't like a bully. I don't like a bully. Forgiveness. I'm struggling to get over the past. I feel like some of these people are like, oh my God, I'm a bully. Like they tripped over their own self and then they were like, some of these people could have tried to make it seem that you were being a bully, but it was just because you were like in your leadership or you just knew the right thing. It's like this is something very pro-social in you that they like weaponized, but they were projecting onto you. I don't like this energy. This is an incredibly weak energy as well. This is an extreme amount of weakness. And I think that there's something here about religion or spirituality that these people need to connect to in order to like get over it. Conversation. They want to call you and ask for your forgiveness. These people are actively thinking about calling you. You made me realize my flaws. I'm sorry. I cannot help but be snarky in this energy. It's like when you guys were sitting around circle jerking each other, not a one of you was like, this is gross. Like, space. I need more time to think. Ugh. Good Lord. Understanding. I see your side of the story. Okay. You know what's gross is I feel like these are adults in this lifetime and in other lifetimes. This is the kind of shit you learn when you're 7. And it's important that you learn it when you're 7 because you're little. And so when you're out there being a little dick on the playground, your parents or like the recess aide, they can actually physically pick you up to remove you if you're going to be an asshole. But when you're grown, when you're an adult, you're taking adult-sized punches at somebody. And I feel like that's what went on here. That somebody took an adult-sized chunk out of you in some way. It was absolutely violent. Some of this was criminal. And these people should actually be locked away because they should have learned it when they were 7. You know, it's like there's no excuse for this at all. There's no excuse for this behavior at all. I love when Jess gets upset first. I really dislike these people. I would have been the person in the group that was like, what are you doing? But also I feel comfortable pretty much. I feel comfortable socially to say pretty much anything. And if I don't feel comfortable socially, that has always been a huge red flag for me because I feel comfortable talking to most people because in my mind, a person is just a person. But if I find out that you're not just a person, and so like if I just bring up, because that's what I mean. It's like I feel like I can always connect with somebody's humanity where it's like, okay, I need to have a difficult conversation with you. Yeah, it might be hard, but it's worth doing. But if I find out in that difficult conversation that you're just a bully, like you're not connected to your humanity at all, well then I don't give a shit. Like I don't like you, but at least I find that out about you. And I feel like that's what a lot of you did. Because some of you did address certain things directly, or you were trying to, and then all these people were being like really shady. I hope these people get their karma, and I think that they will. These people deserve like some kind of hefty scooping of karma. And by the way, getting your forgiveness isn't gonna stop them from having to face what they did to you in some direction of their life. And I feel like for a lot of these people, their biggest fear is being ganged up on, and they did it to you, and they smiled in your face while you did it. This is the most annoying. Sorry, I don't like this energy. I hate this energy the most of all energies. If you want to be an enemy to my face. Be an enemy to my face. Not this fucking shit. And these are the kind, I also don't like it because these are the kind of people that so many people are like, wow, they've always been so nice to me. And it's like, they're the literal scum of the earth. Okay. They wanted a unified love and partnership with you. I don't care. I feel like you don't care. I really don't care. You want to act like this? I don't care. Anything else? They didn't see clearly. I am seeing that. Maybe these are just like very young souls. Maybe you're a better person than me, and maybe you have a lot of kindness and empathy. And so like, this is very Jesus. I feel like you're like really, you have been asked to be like very Jesus in regards of these people, like turn the other cheek. I think you're working on forgiveness, and maybe I should work on it too. But you're probably further along than me. I have this kind of thing in my mind too. Okay, I feel like there's some kind of karmic lesson here. Okay, this is what I'm toying around in my mind, because have you ever heard the phrase that is like, if you're weak on the perpetrator, you've chosen the side of the perpetrator. Like if you're just going to give him a slap on the wrist, you have actively chosen to continue to try to harm the victim. And I'm going back to a conversation that I had with somebody not too long ago where they were describing, they were like, I forgive this person. Like, I understand that they are weak and they're struggling with their humanity. Like, I accept it. And I was like, well, what if you didn't? What if you didn't accept it? Because to me, it's like, this is the kind of person, this is the kind of situation where it's like, what if I don't accept you? And because then you're going to have to fix it. Because actually, you being the way that you are, these are the kind of people that have hurt many people, like a lot of people. And it's through past passivity and action, through their own weakness. And I feel like if you just stop and you just really hold a wall up to these people, it's probably what is best for all. I don't think that you want to have to bring the hammer down. And in part, it's because these people act sweet. And so you're like, maybe this is overkill. No, it's not. These are the people that need the worst punishment because they're sneaky. They're weaselly wormies. They will just go like run off. These are kind of people that need you. We don't tolerate it around here. We don't tolerate it around here, and we nip it in the bud. This is exactly the person that needs like the most punishment. They really do, in my opinion, in order to really stop them from doing this again. Because it's underhand, it's sneaky, it's in the shadows. And you know what they say? If you catch one thing of it, if you see it even once, oh, it's been going on. You see one termite, you got a problem. You know, that's these kind of people. This is like the one bad apple spoils the entire bunch kind of shit. Like, I feel like there should be a stronger opposing force. And I think you do as well. So some of you have been the leader to actually do that. To actually like oust certain things. I don't like this energy. Look at this. This is the way they're trying to come back to you. But you know that they're decrepit. This is not the energy. They try to appear this way. That's not who they really are. This is who they really are. Lack of direction, procrastination, creating conflict, self-limiting beliefs, spiritual path, newly formed idea. This is a person that has an idea and like thinks that they're the CEO of a company. These are the kinds of people that make you disorganized. I think that you've had to reprioritize because, okay, that's what this has taught you is you were overly giving. You're overly pro-social to the point where you weren't thinking about yourself. I think that you were trying to be so benevolent to these people that other people got hurt. You're kind of realizing, kind of like a parent, that like you not opposing these people and saying like, this is absolutely disgusting, the way that you behave, like has actually created some kind of a problem. For some of you, this could be your own kids. I don't know. These people, good. I think this is what I was waiting for. I could tell that I was going in, I was not relenting because these people are like, no, but I'm a really good person. And every single time that I was like, no. Like, unless these people are willing to have the conversation that they're a bad person, that's how they need to step to you. I'm a shitty person. I'm decrepit. I was doing this, I was doing that. That's their side of the conversation. Unless they're willing to step to you in that energy, you can't have the conversation that you need to have. How do you not become a shitty person? These people want to gloss over it. The conversation is, how are you going to not be a shitty person anymore? I went step 1, step 2, step 3. Oh, we're going to talk about it. And That's what put this person in this energy. And I feel like that's the turnaround that you need this person to feel shame. This is the kind of person that they feel shame constantly, but they don't acknowledge their shame. And they don't do anything. It doesn't motivate them to like get up out of it. So this is the kind of person that you can't be like, well, I don't want you to feel shame. No, this person feels shame, and then they don't allow it to motivate their behavior out of it. And then it's the time thing. So I feel like, yeah, this is what you're looking for. You're looking for this person to actually like hang their head, or to like own up to what they did, to own up to what their secrets, to actually show who they really are in the world. Because I feel like you're realizing, you're saying to this person, I don't want to deal with an illusion of you. Nobody does. I want to get to know you. You have to have the courage. That's what this really is. You have to have the courage to bring yourself out into the world and be dealt with in that manner. And that includes taking your lickings. That includes taking your punishment. That includes coming clean. Some of these people need to come clean. And I feel like for some of you, it's like if and until these people come clean to like the proper authorities. I'm hearing you say like, I think you're a spiritual teacher to these people. And I don't think you're going back in with these people like into another lifetime until they come clean. I think some of these people need to like speak to an HR department. I think some of these people need to speak to some authority that can undo the poison that they injected in the conversation. They need to turn themselves in. They need whatever this is in order. And I feel like that's the stance. And even if it's not possible in this life, like if some person did something criminal to you, this person will do jail time before you're back in their life. Like whether it's in this lifetime or whether it's in another lifetime. And you're not moving on that. You're not budging on that. They really have a lack of inner joy. Yeah, they think your wish come true. I feel like these are the kind of people you have to walk away from. And I feel like you are walking away from it. So there's a connection here in a past life to a very smug, very nasty group of people. And you'll find that once you move away from these people, your luck changes as well. Because that's part of the lesson is that the people that are in some way you were a wish fulfillment to these people. You were like their dream boss or their dream friend or their dream girl or, whatever it was. In some way you were like a dream come true to these people. And that was like the divine. That was like you giving them luck. But if they're going to behave like this, then you cutting away, like you're going to notice that your Jupiter kicks in. Cause I think you were giving of your Jupiter. And now it's going to like replenish you and your luck is going to change. Yeah, because these people had you playing small. And they wanted to have you playing small too. To the detriment of everybody. I just heard to the detriment of everybody. Anyways, I got to put this down because it's upsetting. This is like deeply upsetting. And I feel like this is why it's upsetting me too, is because these people don't realize that they're the most upsetting. Like these people are like, but I smile and I laugh and I giggle. And you're like, you are the most upsetting. You are the most disorienting because you like to smile in people's faces and then play behind their back. And even until you make sure that you never do that again. Like you need to be that person that is like, I actually resolved to not, this is like from Mean Girls where Katie Herring, she's like, I actually am trying not to talk about, I'm doing this new thing where I'm trying not to talk about people behind their backs. Like, oh, this person thinks that because they don't walk right up to people and punch them in the face, that is actually better. But I think that whatever this was, because it hit you right in the Scorpio. So it caused you some kind of trauma. It had to do with your money. It had to do with smegs. It was like the worst possible way that you could have been hit. You got hit. And these people are like, but I didn't walk right up and punch you in the face. I wasn't being mean to you. And you're like, I would have rather you been mean to me than do whatever you did to me. Fucking dick. Anyways, I got to put it down. Lord, help me. And these people need to see that side of you, or they need to, maybe somebody will tell these people that they're the bottom of the barrel. That guy that walks right up and punches people, he's better than you. Compassion. But I feel like you can have compassion for these people, but like from over there, you need to have compassion for yourself, and you need to have compassion for all the other victims, because these people have multiple victims. All the other victims that these people have treated in a negative way. And it's through their weakness that they victimize people. It's not through their strength, it is through their weakness. And isn't that just how it goes? You're the least safe around a coward, basically. So you have compassion for these people. I think you had way too much compassion for them in the past. And I don't think you had enough compassion for yourself. And I don't think you had enough compassion for their victims. And I think you're balancing out the compassion now. So we can give them compassion, but actually really, truly giving these people compassion is like, I'm seeing somebody sitting in a jail cell or being fired, or like these people need to confront what they've levied at other people's door, like behind the scenes, nasty, nasty people. Only ever known cowards. try. I'm just going to do this for a minute. The prayer wheel too. It's like, take it up with God. I feel like you don't want to hear these people's mouth. If your lips are moving, you don't want to see this from these people. I feel like you've learned with these people that they'll say one thing to your face and another thing behind your. It's the mouth. They've weaponized mouth. So you don't want to hear mouth. You don't want to hear mouth. If they can't say it to you quietly and with their actions, it's not a conversation you want to have. So this will be a conversation with Mars energy when it comes back together. You're gonna not delay. You're gonna not drag your feet. You're gonna not be two-faced. Ugh! I'm still upset. I'm gonna have to cut this live stream off. Puck it. Exactly. Puck it. We make that joke for us too. They have no credit. Oh my. And for you, this is a lesson about compassion. Because I saw somebody made a comment about like their new job, and it's like, so you don't want to meet more people that it's like this. And I feel like what you're learning is like, you shouldn't have so much compassion for somebody else that you lose it for yourself and for all the people that they hurt. So sometimes having compassion is like having some kind of strong energy. I really feel I'm getting a strong jail energy. I feel like so for what they did to you in a past life, I think some of these people need to serve jail sentences. I really am strongly getting that. And I feel like they are trying to get into your good graces and trying to get you to like them. And they're doing this little song and dance so that you forgive them. But I don't think it's going to change it. And I think these people have been trying to outrun that. Like they don't select lives where it's like they're going to have to serve their jail time. I think that they're going to have to select lives where they spend maybe an extended period of time in jail for what happened. Or it's something jail-like. Isolation, being... Because this is what they did to you. In a past life, I feel like it was way more severe. It could have been death. It could have been isolation. It could have been they got you like they made it to where you couldn't work to support your family or something like that. So these people deserve jail time for what they did. It was absolutely criminal. If it wasn't criminal in this life, it was criminal in a past life. And these people owe you jail time. And I think they are thinking that you're such a nice person that you might forgive them. But then because they haven't fixed the underlying issue, they do the same shit to you. And I think that you are such a compassionate person. That's what I think the switch is. I think in this lifetime, they were like, okay, yeah, and I'm going to do the right thing. And I'm going to da-da-da-da. And you're like, yeah, and then I'll forgive you. And then I won't have to serve the jail time because I don't belong in jail, and it's like, okay. And then this person continues to do it. So I think now you're like, this is off the table. So this is their karma, like, and they could serve it now or they could serve it 700 years from now. I don't know, but I feel like that's really the line. Now this person's going to have to, I'm really getting that. They have to serve jail time. Okay. I just heard sleep well knowing that. That they're not getting away. They're not getting away from it. Ugh. All right. I'm sorry, you guys. I cannot stand that energy. Like, it's just really, I feel like you're really pissed. For some of you, like, you're really pissed. Once you saw that for what it was, like, and I can't let it go. Like, you see, I, like, can't get away from it. I can't let it go. But we're moving on. We're moving on to the general messages. Oh, Lord, help me. Look at my walnut bowl. This will make us feel better. There you go. All right. Sincerity check. Do they seem regretful, defensive, justified, or remorseless? So if somebody's trying to apologize, like trying to figure out how sincere they are, you support each other, but that came out in reverse. Consider why you did it. Somebody here is very angry or they're confused about why you will not accept their apology. Maybe this is the pile number 3 person. But it's because you've done a sincerity check. Or if you're asking this about another person, it's because there's a sincerity check here. Like, and for some, it's like, there's just this sense that you might well be sorry. But there's something here where like just saying, I'm so sorry and I understand what I did to you. This person feels like you'll never understand. You didn't go through it. There's something here where it's like, because this person is strong, because this person, and for some, I'm talking about you, because they're resilient, This person's strengths do not take away from what you did. Because this person was able to handle it. I feel like because you didn't see this person hurt. You didn't see this person cry themselves to sleep. You didn't see this person lost trying to figure out what they were doing wrong to cause you or somebody else to treat them like that. You didn't see that side to this person because of some kind of strength that they have. This person being strong does not change the severity of what you did. Just because you can't see like the severity or the repercussions, it doesn't change it. So you saying, like, there's something here where it's like just saying sorry doesn't cut it here. This person really truly feels like you don't know what I went through. You can't possibly know what it felt like to be me. Not unless you lived through it. And I understand that you're sorry, but you're sorry from such a superficial place. Even if it is sincere, it's like you're sorry from such a superficial place because you don't understand the depth of what I had to go through. And so therefore you can't understand why it's like you can't put a Band-Aid over a bullet hole. Like that's what this feels like. This was like, and it's that Pluto energy. Like there's some kind of trauma here that you may have not even known that this person had. And it has to do with their background and where they came from and what they overcame that you just like so flippantly like hit. And there's also a time thing. I really feel like this is potentially connected to pile number 3, where they drag their feet around timing, around making a decision. And so that folds into the sincerity check. There is no sincerity here as far as this person is concerned. Or that's, yeah, there because of, but I think it's the time thing and the dragging your feet and the associates. You were supposed to make a decision earlier. And the fact that you didn't, this person can't believe that you're sincere, something like that. You don't actually support each other. I feel like, yeah, this person's like, I'm always giving. I'm dragging your ass behind me. And you want that back. I don't blame you. I'd want it back too. It's just not going to happen because you don't bring anything here. Except for all your nasty friends. I'm sorry. I really can't let this go. Consider why you did it. So instead of trying to reach out to this person, you need to consider why you did it. Yeah, some kind of miscommunication or misunderstanding. But your guides are sitting here saying, okay, so I have identified that there's a miscommunication or a misunderstanding. What's the solution to that? Communication. Skillful communication that moves towards understanding. Let their needs guide you. Okay, so this is like, I feel like you need to finally think, this is a big shift in your dynamic. Like whoever this is, you need to finally consider this person and what they might need. This is reminding me of another message that I channeled. It's like, somebody here is so strong that nobody ever looks at them through the lens of their needs. And I feel like now you're finally looking at this person and you're saying, like, what might they need? And there's a Pluto here with this person. So there's some trauma and there's something hidden and there's something buried, possibly with you. So for some of you, it's like, stop focusing so much on this person and learn what a trauma victim needs, because they don't want to be reminded or they don't want to be triggered or like, you might not be able to bridge the gap with this person. They might have to work it out with a therapist or something. You have to consider what this person needs, because I think for some of you, what this person needs is like space. What they need is like to be left alone. They need to be like away from you or something like that. Feeling hurt, shocked, or sick. I feel like that's how this person felt in the past by whatever underhanded shit went on. And I feel like that's how you're feeling now. It's worth weighing your options. I think that's what you thought in the past, and it absolutely was not worth weighing your options. Count your blessings. Okay. This one wants to come out too. Pay attention to how others make you feel. So this nasty group that you were a part of here or whatever, pay attention to how they make you feel. I think somebody here that's very beautiful and got hurt made you feel intimidated, which is a you problem. But they also made you feel warm and loved and seen. And so it's worth weighing your options. It's worth it. Like something here was like worth it because of who this person actually is. But like the negative part of this person was in you. It existed in you. And you didn't take accountability for that, which would have pointed you towards your own Pluto. Like, oh wait, I got shit that I have to heal because it's my own shit that's like causing me to see this person in a distorted light when this person has been nothing but kind. There's a real stability here with that clock. Like they've shown up for me. They're very reliable, which by the way, is an underestimated thing in relationships. You seek out for sustainability. If you can kind of predict when somebody shows up for you in a very predictable way, that's love. Catherine, thank you so much for the super chat. Sacred spaces are a holy treasure. Thank you so much. But yeah, like there's something here about like that stability. This person was giving love, stability, and it was probably firm and it had to do with a certain amount of self-respect, but I feel like it made you feel a certain way. So, and this other group, there's a real, I just get the sensation of jerking it. That's what I really feel. That's the sensation that you got. And it milked like literally the worst part of you. And it felt good, except for after you climaxed. And then it like falls back down and you're like, and I feel like it's like stroking your ego. That's what I feel like. Something about being in this group stroked your ego because you didn't have to face your own shortcomings, because this group would just like mirror back to you like, yeah, you know, they're wrong and you're right and they're stupid and you're smart, and like, but really that's not the truth. And you have something here that this person was illuminating, and that's valuable. And it is also brave. I think that's another thing. It's also brave. It's pretty ballsy. And so the pleasure that you got from hanging out with this group is sick. It's like ill. And it's fleeting, and then you feel like shit afterwards. So it's like worth paying attention to that. It's gross. I literally just said this is so gross, and then the lighthearted alchemist was like, this feels gross. Like we both said it at the same time. Okay. I have to move on from this. Like, it just keeps, you know, and I think that, okay, this is like a thing with trauma. I don't know which side of this equation you're on. Okay. But this cut deep, and I feel like it cut deep both ways. Somebody here might just be realizing that, but it's because they were denying somebody else their humanity. They just refused to look at somebody here as a person. They looked at them as an object, and they treated them like an object. And then they wanted to feel justified. So justification is the root of all evil. But, I almost said something else. There was some other lesson that I was like getting here. Oh, it's about like not letting go, because I feel like there's something here with trauma where you can be so shocked by something that you just keep replaying it over and over again. And sometimes you'll even play out that same event like over and over in your life, but it's because like you can't get over it. It's like the shock of it, like you're stuck in some kind of like loop. So I feel like that was one person here. But then now another person is like just shocked. And now they don't want to let go because now they just desperately want to fix it, but they don't have the skills to fix it, because the only thing that they can think to fix it is to say sorry with words. Like their mouth injured this person in the past, and they don't get that. And they, and then it's so superficial. I'm sorry. It's like if I rocked you in the face and I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. That's not good enough. I'm sorry. Do you think we're going to be friends now? Like there's something here like that. It's like, what? And somebody here like can't let go of it because they realize potentially now, like the shock, the hurt, the horror, the trauma, the very adult size wound that they took out of this person here. And now they can't let it go. And now they're like pulling on it. It's trauma here. This is a trauma bond. Okay, but moving on from that. Spirit, how can we move on from this? Oh, Ace of Pentacles. Oh, look at that imagery with the throat. The truth, swallowing the truth. Instead of arguing, swallow the truth. And listen to your intuition. Might be a harsh truth here. I think for whoever got hurt, the harsh truth is that these people were never your friends. And that I think it actually scared the shit out of this person. Okay, so if you were the person that somebody did this to you, this scared the shit out of you, whether you can admit it or not. It scared you to your core because you realized that someone can smile in your face and do the worst shit to you. Like behind your back, or be planning or scheming behind you. Like that's scary because it throws off your discernment. You thought you had discernment here, and because these people weren't giving you the signs and signals that you would have needed to protect yourself. It made you feel very scared in the world, and this is a trauma. So I feel like you have to admit that to yourself, that you're scared shitless. Like okay, so the anger that like I've been expressing, because I feel like I'm in your energy. Anger, they say anger is never your primary emotion, that there's always a softer emotion beneath it. I think it's hurt. I think it's trauma, but it's fear. Like you were rocked to your core because you thought that you were investing. You thought that you were building. You thought that you were dealing with people who were pleasant because they smile at you and they say, okay. And they act, but then they drag their feet. It's just like weird little power shit. And you're like, oh my God, like you didn't know a person could be like this, or why a person would even want to be like this. But it's because they hate themselves. So like whoever was doing that, I think you have to the harsh truth you have to swallow is that you are that kind of person. I mean, they're right to walk away from this. This was deep. This was deep. Yeah. And then that's going to lead to temperance out. So, to tempering something out here. And, I'm hearing acceptance leads to stability. That came out in another reading here. So accepting the harsh truth. There's a harsh truth about yourself or about another person and the way that people can be, that both of these people are learning. And then they have to learn how to have compassion for themselves through that. But I just heard, do not expect someone else to have compassion for you in this situation. I feel like this is about like learning how to have compassion for yourself. Because if you're the wounded person in this, then I feel like you can't trust these people. Okay. They smile in your face when they don't mean it. So when they smile in your face and they actually do mean it, there's no difference. Okay. There's no difference in this person's demeanor. There's no discernible difference. That's their karma. They did that. Don't take it on. But you can't go back to this person for compassion. I think some of you want this person to admit what they did to you. I think you want them to see your humanity. I think you want them to admit that you're a person made of soft tissue. You bleed red. You cry tears. Like, you want them to acknowledge that. You want to acknowledge that they were vicious, that they're bullies, that they're underhand, that they're decrepit. You want them to acknowledge that. Don't go to them for that. These are people that cannot offer you their compassion, because when they smile in your face and they're talking behind your back, it looks the same as when they're smiling in your face and they really mean it. And you can't tell the difference. And so this is about having self-compassion, and it's about protecting yourself. But over here, if you're the person who harmed this, you can't run back to this person in order to receive their compassion, because you're just trying to escape the guilt. It's selfish still. It's like still all about you. You have to acknowledge that what you did to this person might be irrevocable, especially in this lifetime. You need to acknowledge that you have to become an entirely different person. This is Phoenix. You need to Phoenix up out of this. You need to take this, internalize this, swallow this harsh truth about yourself, resolve to never, and I mean never, do this again. This is like an addict recovering, where it's like, maybe I'll just sit on the sidelines and chuckle lightly when somebody's being, not you. Some people can do that to keep themselves for a distance, the same way some people can walk into a bar and not have a drink. Not you. If you're the person who did that, you have to have a very staunch no tolerance policy. I don't participate in conversations where people are being like that. I deal with my problems head on. I like to find a healthier way to deal with my solutions. And it's a harsh truth. There's some kind of harsh truth here. Yeah, this is justice. Okay. Anything else? Spirit is still talking about the situation. Spirit is saying the reason that Spirit is not letting us like move away from this, and it's because this is a bigger deal than a lot of people are letting on. Gossip sounds like it's birds tweeting in a tree. You know, it seems like it's like some kind of lighthearted issue, but it drummed up some kind of violence, and it emboldened a nasty person. So it emboldened a nasty part of you, or it emboldened a nasty person. For some of you, you thought that this was like harmless because you didn't do anything to this person, but you were on the periphery. But what you need to know is that karmically you're held responsible because it emboldened someone who did a violence to this person. This person was, I think, physically harmed in some way. They were traumatized, and whether you know it or not, and you don't have to know it, but your participation in this emboldened a very bad actor where it should have neutralized it. That's the karma here. So this is a much bigger deal than either party is really letting on, and Spirit is really driving that home. Spirit is saying, we're not moving away from the gravity of this. This is Pluto, and everybody wants to run away from their Pluto is what I'm hearing. So I'm seeing Spirit say, we're dealing with this. Spirit's just pulling, we're dealing with this. Because there's some kind of karmic judge. I saw the justice card here, and it has to do with like death ending like energy. Because I feel like whatever scorpionic energy was levied towards you, it's scorpionic energy that's turned around and levied back at this other person. But you have to understand, like, okay, if somebody stole from you, then whatever this is, it's like it's that energy being returned. It's scorpionic, just generally. There's a lot of things that kind of, it's crisis, it's trauma. You know, it's like. The way that bits the language of Scorpio is the same. So it's not like if they stole from you, now somebody's going to steal from them. It might be that way, but it's like that scorpionic energy is like being returned back to this person. Spirit is just giving me like this energy that I've been in, this very big, very like, that's Spirit in this situation. Saying, we're not running from this. Like, and this isn't something that you can just hear something about one time and like move on from it. There's an emotional aspect of this. Oh, okay, because they're saying like you're trying to keep it in the mind of like, I don't understand what the problem is, okay? And it feels very preschool to me of like, I was a toddler teacher, and like toddlers like to bite because they're like, you know, learning, it's how they like explore their world. So there was a lot of like making amends of like, we don't bite, you know, and okay, like see his face, see how you hurt him because they're learning how to identify emotions like on the face. See, he's hurt. Are you sorry? But like making sure that they actually connect with the feeling of sorry. But it's like somebody here is trying to keep it in the mind, because I'm picturing like this adult. Spirit is not trying to be this adult that's like, and now say you're sorry. Spirit doesn't give a single shit if you say you're sorry or not. Spirit wants you to see the hurt, see the hurt in his face. You see that? And I feel like you didn't know how to see hurt in somebody, like in the original situation. But it's because you're not 7 on a playground. This is an adult that needs to function in the world. So you didn't see like hurt was like isolation. Hurt was they kept their distance from you, didn't they? That's what I heard. They kept their distance from you, didn't they? Or they left. Some of you saw this person leave, like a party or something. You didn't know how to identify the hurt. So Spirit's saying, no. This has to do with some kind of deep skill. And it's like, I need you to see the hurt on this person's face. I need you to feel sorry. I don't need you to say you're sorry. I don't need you to think you're sorry because you realize and you put it logically together. I need you to feel sorry and I need you to see what it did. And I need you to learn that this is why we don't bite people. That there's a reason that you should learn not to bite people when you're a toddler. Because can you imagine if a 47-year-old woman just bit you in line at the grocery store because she wanted the Kit Kat and you were standing in front of it? Can you imagine a world like that? It's like that's the consciousness level that these people are on. You do not bite people as a 47-year-old. It's like it's unacceptable. There's a reason we learn that. It's like there's something here like that. Yeah, and it's a feeling energy, and I feel like there's unpleasant. It's like there's an unpleasant truth, and there are unpleasant feelings here. I just heard like you did this, like you mess with the bull, you get the horns. It is so improper for you to do something fucked up to somebody and then turn around and be like, and they can't emote about it. Let's judge them for the way that they emote about it. Reactionary abuse. I think that was whoever this emboldened negative person was, because it may have been you or it may have been somebody else. What they were trying to do to this person was reactive abuse. It's called reactive abuse, where they are so negative. And this group, though, it could have been, these people, they're not associating what they did with abuse because they use mundane things. So it's like, I'm going to drag my feet. It's going to be a prolonged period of time. Before I do what I'm supposed to do or something. It's all power games. And that's going to go on for an extended period of time until this person cannot fucking stand it anymore and rightfully gets angry and takes some kind of action. And then all these little fuckers in this group are going to turn around and be like, did you see what a bad person that is? That's called reactive abuse. So there's something here where it's like, it's gone on for a long period of time, or it could have been one very significant traumatizing event that this emboldened person did to this person. They felt emboldened because of the way that everybody was talking about this person. They felt, oh, this person ain't shit, or this person's not protected by the group. So I can do whatever I want to this person and nobody's going to protect them. Nobody's going to advocate for them. Some of you, it happened like that. And they flick this person in the face and then they like it when this person can't defend themselves. So they did something fucked up. Somebody here could have. And then they wanted to be like, when they rightfully get angry about something, be like, did you see them yell at me? That person must be terrible. And it's like, there's a time and a place to yell at somebody. And this is it. This is definitely it. But I feel like somebody here has had to be like so strong. Yeah. Some of you are like full of themselves too. This is recognizable in so many people's circumstances. Yeah. Okay. Spirit is saying not to be afraid of this. Like, okay, so I think a lot of you were traumatized by this. And it's like, you were always taught to be the better person. And you're like, so when you say like, okay, well, I see your humanity in this situation. You were taught to, because I'm seeing somebody like sit in a pew or like sit with like their head covered at like, I'm just seeing that like, and you're trying to learn that. And so you learned to, this came out in another reading. My husband helped me understand this the other day. He said, you learned how to proactively forgive people. And what that really did is like it disabled you from being able to advocate for yourself because forgiveness is a process. And my guide said to me the other day, for the cycles of grief, the stages of grief might as well be called the stages of forgiveness. Because forgiveness is a process. Yes, we should forgive people, but forgiving somebody is engaging in a process. So me getting mad about this and feeling this, because anger is a stage of grief. Some of you are trying to skip over this and you're like, well, I forgive this person. And again, the same way that Spirit is telling this little dickhead, like, I don't want you to just walk over and say you're sorry because you understand that the teacher doesn't want you to bite this student. Spirit's like, that's not what I want from you. I want you to feel it, right? What Spirit is saying for you is like, yes, I want you to forgive this person, but I don't want you to just walk over and say, I forgive you and hug and then move on. Spirit's saying, I want you to forgive this person. But Spirit is saying, feel that anger, baby. Feel that depression. Feel that bargaining. Feel it. Some of you are afraid of this side of yourself where this person my husband, thank Alex Puckett for this, because he helped me see this. This little shithead, they are naturally in touch with their anger in the same way an infant is. It's like, I get mad, I smack you in the face. That's not an adult behavior, right? I get sad, I shit my pants. Not an adult behavior, right? But it's this infantile kind of bullshit. So this person is naturally in touch with their anger. So them growing up means they have to learn how to self-discipline. They have to learn how to restrict their like emotions for the greater good. Not to not deal with them. They need to learn healthier ways to deal with them. You're the opposite. You're not naturally in touch with your anger. You proactively forgive. And in doing that, you've learned that that equals repressing your anger. And that's why you don't actually forgive these people. You don't. Not yet. And grief also is like a process, like you never fully, like think about grieving the death of a loved one. Do you ever fully move on? Like, I mean, you do, and to where you can function in your daily life. But like when you get a whiff of their perfume or when you see like their picture or something, like it brings it all back because you cared about that person very deeply. And it elicits that emotional response in you. So it's not that you ever just like fully move on from something. So Spirit is saying, I want you to forgive this person, but you have to grieve it and you have to have your own back. And I think some of you have been taught to demonize your anger where you're like, whoa, this isn't like spiritual or this isn't like the process. It is though. This is exactly the energy that Spirit needs you to be in where you're like, I'm fucking hurt. I'm appalled at your behavior. I can't get over it. Like I really can't. And actually this hit me very, very deep. I don't trust people. Like some of you are like, you think that this is a one-time incident. What you did to me has such long-standing consequences. I just heard it made me sick. It made me sick. For some of you, this like, it could have like sparked up some kind of autoimmune issue or something like that. It made me hate myself is what I'm hearing. Like, so with this person saying, I'm sorry, I bet you are. You sorry ass. You know what I'm saying? You with your sorry ass. I'm glad we're on the same page about that now. Like, you know, it's unforgivable. There's something here that really truly is like unforgivable, whether you did it or where it emboldened another person to do it. Because I'm hearing like we misunderstand our karma sometimes because you are an individual, but you're part of a group. And so there are certain things where it's like an individual would never have been emboldened to go out and do something if the group hadn't suggested it, if the group hadn't uplifted it. And I feel like that's gone on here. And the karma, I just heard your karmas. You better hope nobody harmed a hair on that person's head because I just heard your karmas are the same. Your karmas are wrapped up with that. You do not embolden people to do fucked up shit to other people. You don't do it. Ugh. But do you see this? Like this feels unnatural to me. Like I'm embarrassed because this is the way that I actually feel about this. I can't even touch this energy without being disgusted and revolted that somebody would find this an appropriate way to behave and that literally nobody's parent or teacher stepped in and was like, listen up, you little shit. Like, you know, I can't stand it. But I also don't like this. I will talk like this to my husband. Like I'll let him see the way that I normally am, you know, but I don't let other people see. Also because like people aren't like really trustworthy and people do that reactive abuse thing. Where like, do you see that I'm not the person in this scenario that did this to another human being, but I'm so angry that this injustice went on. Like I'm mad at the injustice, but these abusers, they make anger a bad thing. Okay, anything else? This is a painful ending. This is a part of this is a painful ending. I feel like this little idiot, see how I'm doing that? See, and I'm doing it with you. I'm not doing it to their face. Right? I would be restrictive because I'm an adult, but we're processing this. We're like the girlfriends that are like, I can't believe what your asshole boyfriend did to you. And I'm going to talk to you different because this is releasing, like it's allowing your anger to release. And it's socially appropriate here. I would never say this to this person's face, right? But let's speak honestly because you need to have a place where you can go to speak honestly about it. You know, like I've always cried in the shower. Like I cry in the shower. And then I have a touch of the OCD. So I'll go over and over and over and over and over a conversation that I feel like I have to have with somebody. If I have to say something hard to somebody, I'll just go over and over and over to make sure that I'm saying it in a way that's like as kind as like humanly possible. But it just like builds up this pressure. It like causes me to like feel so repressed. But I feel like that's a part of it. Like you need to have some kind of system like that where it's like you can process like through the emotions. Like that's what we're doing here on the back end. But please understand that this isn't the way that you deal with it on the front end. Like for some of you, because nobody taught this little shit here, like how to deal with themselves on the back end. And so the back end becomes this weird, nasty, gossipy, goopy. But so this is part of the harsh truth here is that there was an ending here because I feel like this person didn't understand what they were doing. They didn't understand that what they were doing was they chose. They didn't understand the decision that they were making. They didn't understand that they chose to betray you and that that's a painful ending because you don't like to be around people that betray you. That it's shocking, but it needed to be said. You are leaving. You're leaving this. You're transcending this. And Spirit is wanting you to, okay, so I'm hearing like you understand mentally that you don't want to deal with these people anymore. But this is what Spirit is saying. It's like, this looks messy, doesn't it? And we need you to fully let go of this. Like there needs to be some kind of emotional release for you to actually like elevate out of this and never to look back again. This is like the purging that comes afterwards. Because I think you've accepted that these people are less than integral and they're not who they present themselves to be. I think it's shocked you, but you have to like process that. It's like processing through the emotion that it brought up. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I just looked down and I saw Nora's comment where she said the Gemini mind. And then I looked here like the 9 of Swords. It's very anxious. And it could have to do with that like being in a dual mind or something. Like, okay. And I feel like there's certain truths or something here that like this person can't unhear or whatever. And it's like keeping this person like stuck in a place, in some kind of place here. Look, here's the clock. There's the clock. Remember, like that's your sun energy and like that's the Pluto. Oh my gosh, and it's like a skeleton. What card is this? The Knight of Pentacles. Okay, so this has actually made you very independent. And also notice that this Pluto energy isn't directly under the sun. It's moved on. It's moved forward and it's actually moving forward. So you're moving forward and this pattern has broken. This like sun Pluto pattern that I'm picking up on has actually broken. So this Pluto energy is like moving forward. For some of you, you really kept these people in your heart. You treated them like they were family. And because I'm seeing that move, and I'm actually seeing it jump to the 6th house, which is, these might be people that you see every day. But honestly, you being in that Virgo energy, it's like you might be a professional. Like the dynamics between you, it's like in a future life or whatever, you might be a professional that helps these people, but they have to pay you. You know, it's like they have to contract you. You no longer see these people as your people, as family. You don't bring them into your home. It's not like that. It's like, it's more of that distant. You might see them on a regular basis, but it's more Virgo. Eight of Cups, 4 Pentacles. Yeah. Something here. Walking away from the emotion of the situation allowed this, it emboldened a manipulator. I don't know if that was you, but your behavior, somebody's behavior here emboldened a bad person to do something bad. And I think that somebody here is trying to distance themselves from that. Well, I didn't do the bad thing. No, but that guy would, or that girl wouldn't have done the bad thing had you not have emboldened them. If somebody here had said, I don't want to be a part of it, that bad thing, it wouldn't have happened. Judgment. And I really, okay. So for some of you, Spirit just wants you to know this is a period of judgment. So your period of judgment is an emotional unearthing. You need to cry. You need to scream. You need to like whatever. And you need to use, okay. So that's another thing that I kind of want to explain here is like, I feel like some of you may have noticed like a change in my demeanor. And okay. So, and again, I was processing this with my husband the other day. Cause, it's like for me, I have these feelings, right? Okay, everybody's a person and I have to like hold compassion. But I've started to notice that for me, even though I believe that very strongly, for me, it always feels like I leave a door open. I started to notice that I still feel energetically drained. I feel like it's taking from me, for me to like hold that space open. But when I close that door and I just say, you're an asshole. I understand that like you're a person and that you're going through whatever struggles. But to me in my life, you're an asshole. And I have to just file it away because I can't have like the mental I'm not infinitely giving in terms of my energy. So what I'm saying is like, I've seen you for what you are and I'm no longer interested in this relationship. So therefore I have categorized you. I know exactly why I'm moving away from this relationship. So I have categorized you and this door is closed. And I just saw that person like turn to stone in my mind. It's like, I'm done with this. I'm not keeping the door open for this. So that's why in these readings, like when I'm talking to you, I'm like, this person's an asshole. And what I'm saying to you is like, yes, this person like has humanity or whatever. But it's like, I think you need to close the door on this person because they were what they were to you. And yes, like they have compassion, but they're hurting you. And so it's perfectly fine for you to just be like, boom. And then go and keep that beautiful, loving energy to the people that deserve it. So these people have received some kind of painful ending in their life or they're just about to. The 10 of Swords. It's a part of the judgment period. And you have activated this. Because for some of you, I think it took a long time for you to realize these people were not your friends, or they were not who they said that they were, and that was a them problem. Because even if you realize that something good was going on behind the scenes, I think that you are the kind of person where you're like, oh my God, what did I do? Well, if they're talking shit about me, it must have been for a reason. That says so much about you. That says so much about the kind of person that you are versus the kind of person that they are. Because you're the kind of person that's like, I wouldn't be talking mad shit about people unless I meant it. So they must, and I think in your mind, you're like, I try so hard and I show up. And these people are like, what a martyr. What a kiss ass. And it changed their fortune. And something here, there's a major shift coming in these people's life. And it has to do with exposing their dirty underbelly. There's a message coming in. There's something coming in fast. They've been trying to escape something. There's a functioning dysfunction. There's an authority too. So there's a message coming in from an authority. It's going to flip their fortune. So some of these people could be a job loss. And for some of you, it's very karmic. It's what they did to you. Okay? And okay, so I'm just saying this for myself, but also like, we're not the people that bullied people. At least I hope. So I always feel nasty, like whenever I do this on the internet, but it's because Spirit is trying to make me feel like it's okay. But part of my lesson is realizing that like I hold so much space for other people that have humanity. Other people can do that for me. And it's actually what I need. And it's like very healing for you to just like be like, okay, go off, Jess, like, or whatever, like, and just allowing me to express all shades of my humanity. And you're not going to nitpick me, and you're not going to like try to zero in and like make me feel bad or anything. Like, yeah, that's a part of it. But like, I always feel nasty afterwards, like, and bad, because I feel like there's a part of me that feels like because I'm feeling it, it must come from me. But I feel like for a lot of you, it's like, you got to get past that. Like, if you're emoting back up what other people put into you, their nasty energy, it's not coming from you. It's like you getting rid of it, when I spit, it's like mucus, gotta get rid of it. These chicks don't pop like me. Sorry. Thank you so much, Kimmy. That was so healing for me. Kimmy just said, your heart is so clear to see. And I feel like, let me mirror that back to you, because I feel like if you've been in this situation, you were attacked because of your heart, because of your goodness, because of your strength. Your heart is so clear to see. I feel like you thought that was the problem in the past, but really like these people's heart's not clear to see, because they're actually aligned with you, but then, and they don't like each other. And every single one of them is like, I really don't like being around you, and I really want to leave you, but how do I, it's just that kind of energy. I don't know. So I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to get a hug from my hubs, and I'm going to eat a taco. And it's not going to have a soggy bottom either, because I don't have a soggy meat.
We don't do soggy bottom tacos in this house.
We do not do we have a lot of ass opinions in this house, as you can tell. We do not half-ass things. We whole-ass things. We don't soggy bottom out. Like, we just have a lot of opinions around behinds. So, very strong opinions. That's the Puckett way. That's the best taco. Not a soggy one. Okay. Thank you guys for being my people. Happy Samhain. Okay, so the truth serum and apple picking are restocked. So, for some of you, it's a good time to get the truth serum. Let me just plug my products, okay? Like, you guys know where I stand. Like, I want you guys to always be making the best decisions for you or whatever. But it is Samhain. The veil is very, very thin right now. Also, we've been channeling about that Leviathan energy, which is the energy of like confusion and chaos and like cutting through to find the truth. Especially some of you have been dealing with two-faced people. So you've had to do all the work to like cut through and find the truth. So if you like ritual and magic, which to me, it's intention setting. Like, all of magic is just intention setting, and it's speaking what you want like into the world. And I think the hardest part about like manifesting and everything is getting something from your mind out into the world. So ritual, whatever ritual that you like to do, is a really good way of doing that. I like to light a candle. That's one of my favorite things to do, because there's just something powerful and magical about like a flame. If you feel the same way about that, or if you like having that ritual thing to reconnect to, every time I light this candle, I'm reaffirming my intention. And plus, our candles, we fill with blessing oils, spells, intentions. We try to bolster that wax for you. Then buy a truth serum candle. I feel like it's a really good time to do that with the Samhain, and also with all this Leviathan energy that I feel like a lot of us have this renewed focus on just ridding it out of our lives. It's like a recommitment to truth. That's ultimately what it is. That's like uprooting this fantasy that keeps you kind of like stuck or down. So if you feel connected to doing that, the truth serum is back in stock. And apple picking, by the way, I have that one out in my house right now. It's so fresh. It's so good. It's got this crisp appley smell. If you like apples and you like a crisp smell, that is a good one.
Seems
Also,
to be the favorite of the fall collection too.
really, it's a good one. With the truth serum, I like to suggest getting the fresh start candle, like with the truth serum. Fresh start is like this very fresh scent. But honestly, to me, apple picking is kind of the fresh start of the fall season because you can smell the fresh air like mixed with the apples. So that's just something to keep in mind. Everyday Magic candles are 30% off for Sam Hain while supplies last. So, and thank you guys for those of you that are like getting these candles, getting yourself stocked up to do whatever little magic-y things that you guys are doing. But yeah, Everyday Magic candles are 30% off while supplies last. Because I think I told you guys that we're going to run down our stock, I think, through the end of the year. And then like re-up at the beginning, like just kind of like do a restart in January. So
we're changing up the Everyday Magic candle line to some degree.
With the spells and stuff that we're trying to put into it and stuff, like we've got different things that we want to infuse. So thank you, Jess. I'm definitely dealing with this bullshit. It was so painful. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I heard there's something from a movie where it's from Pride and Prejudice. And I feel like for some of you, this could be issues with Pride and Prejudice and like the dance between the two. Because I remember that movie. I love that movie. And I remember thinking about the concepts of Pride and Prejudice a lot. I actually think about it a lot because in that movie, it's like, okay, well, you think that Mr. Darcy is pride, and then Elizabeth you think is prejudice because he's rich. Like her uncle says, like, my God, Lizzie, you objecting to Mr. Darcy for his wealth? The poor man can't help it. Like, he can't help what station he was born into, and but you're judging him because that you don't even give him a chance to. So you think he's prideful, but then Lizzie says at the end where she's like, I judged him, like, she said, I'm so stubborn. Like, we're both so stubborn. Like, I'm so stubborn. So she's recognizing that she can be prideful and it has nothing to do with her station or her class. So that might be, yeah. But there was some kind of quote that I had coming up there, but dang, she said it to Jane. It's something that she said to Jane. Yeah. Oh, she says, that's the most unforgiving speech you've ever gave. Because Jane is like her sweet sister. She's like such a sweetheart. And finally, Jane is like, he said he was poisoned by his pernicious sister. And she goes, bravo. That's the most unforgiving speech you've ever gave. And she's like proud of her. So when you were like, oh, I'm dealing with this bullshit, I was like, bravo. That's the most unforgiving speech you've ever gave. Like, so yeah. Okay. And Heaven and Nature sings. Tomorrow's Patreon live stream, what messages want to come through for you from anywhere? Because it was weird last month when we voted. The one that we did last month won out, but then this one won out over time, and so we were like, okay, well, we'll do that one this month. So it's just what messages want to come through for you from anywhere. So, wonderful British accent. Thank you. I've seen that movie a lot. Anyways, okay. Bye. Thank you for being here. I'm going to have a taco.